Thuli Madonsela, in her role as public protector at the time, investigated Nkandla and published her report called Secure in Comfort. She joins us after 4 with her thoughts as to where else the blame might lie. Taxi boss Josie Banyoni is saying some very interesting things at the Madlanga Commission today. Corinda Jagmahan joining us shortly with her take on what's been most interesting for her. And at 10 to 4, Randall Abrams steps in with a song.
Yesterday is gone down, but tomorrow is forever.
Randall Abrams, not surprisingly, I think, for Randall's one song today, picking a Dolly Parton classic. Really looking forward to his take on her music, her legacy, and everything that's come up in the conversation since her passing earlier this week. And in the last part of the show, we'll get to know the actress behind this character and many others as well.
Every role is a challenge for me. Every role, I look at it as if it's the first time I'm playing a villain. So I always have a fresh approach to any villain that I play. So I'm very much about spontaneity on set. I'm also all about instinct. So I always allow my own instinct.
So that's just a taste of what we might hear from Ntati Moshesh. She is my guest on A Song, a Book and a Dish. We'll do that at 20 to 6. The JSE is ending the week with a bang, with the all-share up by 1,420 points. That's a gain of 1.2%. Resource stocks are the big winners so far, with Implat, Sasol and Valterra all up by 4%. Sibanye stronger by 3.5, also on some very good results for that particular player. Not so good for retail stocks. Truworths is down by 3.4. Foschini has lost 2.2%. Our currency trading at $16 Rand against the dollar. Imagine $16 against the rand. That would be nice. 16 Rand against the dollar, 18 Rand 63 against the euro, 21 and 73 cents will get you a pound. Brent crude is selling for $87.65 a barrel. Not really much movement in the price today. We'll get an update on everything happening on the markets and a look ahead to the money show. Moteo Juaripe is stepping in at about 25 past 4. We'll bring you sport with Tolakele Mganga. Big football over the weekend. MTN Top 8, huge rugby on Saturday as well, as the Springboks take on the All Blacks in test number 2. Karabo Chali has the traffic news. We'd love to say no news would be good news. That is very unlikely on a Friday, and it's already busy, as he said earlier, out in the Bryanston area. Mbali Dlamini back at 3:30 with the very latest news headlines. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live. And if it's happening in 702 land, of course, we'll bring it to you as soon as we can. But if it's something we don't know about or something we think we don't know about, but maybe we're not exactly on the money, you can give us a call and tell us, because you see things, you hear things, you have your own ecosystem, and I bet you have already set up your own grapevines. So stuff we need to know that we don't know about, please do get in touch on 072 702 1702. It's 12 minutes past 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
So this is a story I found really entertaining. It's appearing all over the place. In the United States, they're busy having what they call primaries. These are elections in preparation for the larger elections, the midterms as they call them, on the 3rd of November. Now, in the state of Alaska, capital city Anchorage, which you might know from the Michelle Shocked song, this is what's going on. So the incumbent, the person who is currently the man in the U.S. Senate, is named Dan Sullivan. And now there is somebody else who's running against him, whose name is Dan Sullivan. One is Dan S. Sullivan, and up against him, ladies and gentlemen, Dan J. Sullivan. Just to complicate things, the former mayor of Anchorage, the largest city, has come out in favor of Dan Sullivan. The incumbent in this particular case, I'll have to check, Dan S. And what is his name? Well, he is Dan Sullivan.
No way.
Dan A. Sullivan. So it is the Sullivan. It's fantastic. And there's a picture that I see of posters where people say, Sullivan, for Senate. Vote Sullivan for the Senate. And people say, sure, happy to. So it's intriguing, though, because quite a few people have common names. I certainly have a very common first name, although my surname is not particularly usual or common in, certainly here in South Africa. But have you had people confuse you because of your name, either your first name or your second name, and what were the consequences? Was it funny? Was it a little bit awkward? Did you have somebody coming up wanting to settle some score or demand payment of money because they were looking for Karabo tea? And you just ain't the guy, got the wrong person. Try telling them that if they're particularly agitated. We were chatting about this earlier, Refuwe Letsua. You're saying not a lot of Refuwes, eh?
Good afternoon, John, and to the rest of the 702 families. There aren't a lot of Refuwes. I've only met 2 or 3
Yes.
In my lifetime, right? And, I've lived, a couple of years.
Yeah. More than some, less than others.
Yeah, more than some, less than others. And the common version of Refuwe is Refilwe.
Okay.
Yeah, so people's like, it's the same name. I'm like, oh, not really, but okay. So when I first started working here, right, there was already a Refuwe,
Yes.
right? And then I started working here, and then there was another, sounds like Refuwe, but it's not, Rofiwa. She does breakfast. So people thought we were the same person.
All 3 of you were
All
the same
3 of
person.
you, yes.
Sure.
So I remember one of the colleagues, he was also new. He's like, Refuwe, so I keep sending you emails. I don't understand. Are you getting them?
Yes.
Never met this guy. He was new. I'm like, hi. I'm like, what do you mean? Why would you send me an email? So I'm asking, innocently.
Yes.
He's like, we did a mock-up on. I'm like, no, wrong Refuwe. I'm like, show me the spelling. Then I find, no, it's Refuwe without the W. And even when I was still freelancing, and when they were booking Rofiwa and Refuwe, I remember Jonathan would have to describe, no, the one without the hair. She doesn't
Yes.
have, Refuwe, because Rofiwa's got dreadlocks. So it was always, even now, people are like, we want Rofiwa. Which one, Drive or Refuwe or Rofiwa?
Yo, you've got a much more complicated situation than even the Sullivans. But once again, there's 3 people involved. Karabo, I mean, how about you? Mistaken identity based on your name?
I mean, Karabo is very, very common. There's already a Karabo doing the show with us, and there's another
We
Karabo
have 2 in the studio. Just here.
and there's another Karabo who's in digital, and he sits next to me, Nohal, and he's also Karabo T, Karabo Tebele. So it gets very complicated when I just receive random emails that were meant for either
him.
for Karabo
Yeah.
T, which is, and then I get a lot of emails like that, which were not meant for me. And then the other one, I remember he had a delivery. I think it was, he won a competition. It was a wine hamper.
Ooh,
And,
yes.
Tell me you didn't take it home.
And and I was like, okay, where does this come from? Like, no, you won it, Karabo, right? I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like trying to figure out which competition did I. And the hamper looked very nice, with all those wines. And then a few minutes later, they came back like, no, not you, the other one. I was like, oh, man.
Yes. You should have
That's
left.
not fair. You could have kept it in your closet. I'm keeping it there.
Quick headache.
Oh,
you could have been
man.
out of there, but you're not that kind of guy, are you,
No,
Karabo? Nor is the
definitely.
other Karabo, so there we know. And in fact, all Karabos
Yeah.
who are either present or
Karabo.
in the building. So give us a story then where your name has led to a mix-up, where you've either been mistaken for somebody or someone's been mistaken for you. A funny story, a worrying story, it doesn't matter, but a story, please, to 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. 18 minutes past 3, rush hours early on a Friday. So this is, we're probably well into it already.
Yeah, no, it is off to a busy start on our roads. John, already in 4 ways, bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is leaving Bryanston, heading into 4 ways on Winnie Mandela Drive, between the N1 and Broad Acres Drive. Sharon Lee, traffic sluggish on Malibongo Drive. This is between the N1 and Belair's. Krugersdorp, there's also some delays on the R28 between Robert Broom and Hendrik Borgieter in Protea Glen. Slow-moving traffic on the N12 westbound between the R554 and the R558. Bursley, Kempton Park, there's traffic pressure on Morafontein Road between Mooirivier and Pretoria Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
More Mamillion here, and yes, I am a millionaire. Are you ready to play Multiplay 2 from the 1st of September? I hope so. Multiplay too. A new way to multiply your chances of winning the Powerball and the Lotto. Think about it like this. Multi is for multiple combinations. Play is for play more chances. And 2 is for 2 extra numbers. Now you can choose 8 numbers. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizakai.
Light the fire this weekend. With Checkers, we have everything you need to keep the braai and the geus going strong. Get pork braai chops for $58.99 per kilo. Traditional Texas-style burger patties for $139.99 per kilo. And buy a pack consisting of beef club and T-bone steak for $139.99 and get a 250ml pepper sauce free. Valid until 6 September. Only at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
At Crawford International, confidence is built every day. We're encouraged to find our voice, think independently, and lead with courage, integrity, and compassion. In the classroom, on the sports field, and beyond, we learn to step forward, embrace opportunity, and make a meaningful difference. Crawford International, building global leaders. Join us for Open Day on 5 September and experience how we develop confident students ready to lead in a global world.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za because we're your #1 choice. Home in One has it all.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, today at the Madlanga Commission, I suppose you could say once again, somebody whose name has come up in the testimony of other people, again, similarly to Vusimuzi Matlala, somebody who is in the courts as well, being accused in the case of taxi boss Joe Sibanyoni of extortion and some other charges besides. He was there today and he's continuing to give testimony, being questioned by evidence leader Matthew Chaskelson. Corinda Jagmohan has just stepped out to tell us what's been going on. I'm sure she's very keen to get back in, Corinda, because it's been really, really interesting today. Many, many issues and names coming up. One of them that sort of caught my eye because I don't think we've heard anything in relation to the gunning down of DJ Somebody. Tell us how that's come up and what Joe Sibanyoni has had to say about this. Very, very popular DJ, record producer, DJ Somebody, that his professional name, his birth name, Opa John Sifoka. What's come up? Good afternoon.
Certainly, good afternoon. Well, that testimony just came out about half an hour ago where Sibanyoni was going through a number of people. The commission asked him to declare whether he knew or not and to what extent. And 2 people came up in the entertainment industry, DJ Somebody and DJ Vetus, who Sibanyoni said he knew both of them. He knew Austin, DJ Vetus, via the sort of social scene around Gauteng, and that he knew Opa Sifoka, DJ Somebody's father, Mr. Sifoka, for about 30 years when Sifoka Sr. was in the taxi industry, and they both had a great relationship, and he knew DJ Somebody as a young man who he was quite proud of. And he alleges that the passing, the death, the murder rather of DJ Somebody was because DJ Somebody knew Sibanyoni, that the two were linked, and he believes it was because of him. Sibanyoni believes it was because of him that Opa Sifoka came under attack in November 2022. And he also says the same about DJ Vetus, who is a complainant in an attempted murder case against Vusimuzi Kat Matlala.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary range that has come, a range of names. Let's go way back to the beginning today, though, from DJ Somebody to former police minister Bheki Cele. The references to the former minister, I think it's fair to say, not exactly flattering.
Absolutely not. In fact, Joe Sibanyoni has somewhat placed himself in a position that he's lifting the lid on alleged cartel dealings. That's what he says he's come to be commissioned to do. So he has been speaking out against the late taxi boss Jothan Msibi, known as Mswazi, who is believed to be or was believed to be the alleged leader of the Big Five cartel. So Sibanyoni, he paints a picture of a turbulent relationship that he had with Msibi. Firstly, saying at the outset that he had no dealings with the cartel, but as leaders in the taxi industry, the pair often clashed with each other, including claiming that Msibi had an attempted assassination against Sibanyoni in 2006 as well as 2022. So just focusing on the 2022 issue, at that time the pair had their relationship and an agreement to have a partnership had fell apart. That was around 2020, and by 2022, Sibanyoni says that he alerted and messaged then Police Minister Bheki Cele to say that there were cartels operating in the Tshwane area that were interfering in service delivery, and he claims the police minister shrugged this off and said, well, what do I do? And Sibanyoni says he really wanted change. He claims he went to the then Transport Minister Chikunga, who allegedly said that even officials in her department answered to people on the farm being Msibi's farm in Gauteng, where all of these cartel operations were allegedly happening. And then he says he also spoke to MEC Mamabolo about it in Gauteng, and then he says he also spoke to General Nkandla about it 2 years ago, after which he said there was some sort of movement. But he continuously paints the picture that he has been outspoken against Msibi. However, he has said that after Msibi's death in January 2024, so-called elders within the taxi industry came to Sibanyoni to say, well, there's a vacuum in leadership, and he claims that after a conference he was elected then to be part of a certain taxi organization. So he denies the alleged cartel dealings, but paints a picture of this taxi dispute, something that's not in the terms of reference for the commission, but certainly we have heard from previous officers that the alleged cartel syndicate has been operating with a front of legitimate businesses, be it the taxi industry or private security industry, at the back of which they conduct these apparent dealings.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. Are we still, Corinda, at the stage where the framework for the conversation is his own affidavit? I know that even within that there can be some probing questions, but they're generally seen more as questions of clarification rather than actually digging in and, for example, presenting other evidence. Is that where we are still, or have they started getting into the other stuff?
Oh, well, we're still at the first stage, the reading of his testimony, and each witness has had this opportunity to have their version of events. Cross-examination for Sibanyoni will happen, we believe, next Wednesday, because he's going to be at the Dalmas court on Tuesday for the money laundering case against him and others in Mpumalanga. So while that happens, he's still going to be cross-examined, and that is really where we'll get to the crux of it, because while he has these claims that he has been lifting the lid on corruption and he was the one who approached the state, there are still many unanswered questions about what really was his involvement. Why did he go on the same farm where he said that the cartel was operating from? He said that in his testimony and then admitted going to the farm as well, because around 2019 there seems to be an agreement between Msibi and Sibanyoni to enter into a partnership. Now, he was alluding to the taxi industry, but again, we've heard from Crime Intelligence Head General Dumisani Khumalo that these were fronts for the cartel. It's not alleged that this was what Sibanyoni was doing. We'll only hear about that when the commission probes next week.
Thank you so much, Corinda Jagmohan, heading back into the Bridget Mabandla Justice College Auditorium, where the Madlanga Commission is currently underway. Taxi boss Joe Sibanyoni is the person giving evidence.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
Afternoon, John, and 702 lenders. I'm actually just laughing my lungs out here. Refu's story has just absolutely sullivated me. Love it, great showman.
My sister and I constantly get confused with each other, and that's led to a few instances. Once her friend of hers and her husband's confused me with her, and they greeted me and I didn't know who they were. So I greeted them and carried on walking. And they went to complain to her husband about how rude I was. And I've been awfully cold to them today. And then there was another time where someone thought that she was me, and it was a friend that I knew from swimming classes with our kids. And she went and had a whole conversation with my sister, and my sister, being polite, carried on conversing with her. And she wanted to know where my daughter was, who at that point was 6 months. And so my sister, confused, said, "Oh no, she's in the play area." And thinking that my friend was referring to her 3-year-old daughter. So she was very concerned that I had left my 6-month-old in the play area. And we worked together at a company. She was on a different floor than me, but I was able to get access to her floor because they thought I had just forgotten my key card. So they opened for me, and I went to her desk and just messed up with her desk, just for fun. So yeah, get confused with each other quite often.
Goodness me. Just for fun, I thought I'd mess up my sister's desk. I assume it was a very light level of messing up. 702 Drive, the news at 3:30 coming up in just a moment. And Bali Dlamini is keeping an eye on things. Really looking forward to chatting in some detail to Advocate Thuli Maronsela, the former public protector. Her thoughts on one person being held to account, 147 million rands worth of account for what went wrong at the former President Jacob Zuma's Nkandla residence. That's coming your way at 4:10. Right now, it's 3:30. Politically linked killings, the subject of a cabinet discussion. Let's get some details. Mbali Dlamini, good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Well, Cabinet has condemned a recent spate of what's believed to have been politically linked killings. But Minister in the Presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, warns it will be wrong for the executive to intervene, adding that law enforcement should be trusted to bring the situation under control. 3 people have been killed in Knysna over the past week, including a former mayor and serving councillor and another former councillor. Ntshavheni says Cabinet's appealing for political tolerance ahead of the local government elections taking place on the 4th of November.
The net joints have a full plan on securing the elections and the related matters. And if Cabinet discuss the operational matters of capacities of policing structures, we are going to run into problems. The police will know there's mechanisms in place or within the police system that ensures that if the capacity requires to be enhanced, it will be enhanced, but allow the law enforcement authorities to deal with the matter and respond and adjust their plans accordingly.
Meanwhile, the Umkhonto weSizwe Party claims one of its mayoral candidates has survived a hijacking attempt. The country's official opposition was due to announce its Metro mayoral candidates at a media briefing in Durban at 2 this afternoon, but that event had to be pushed back by a few hours following the alleged incident. Party spokesperson Sfiso Mahlanga.
The party is excited to release these names because much work has been put in to the advancement of policy, the build-up of our people's mandate, and our delivery towards the people of South Africa.
Pharmaceutical company Clicks is targeting South Africa's township retail market with a new store format aimed at competing with spaza shops and discount retailers. The group has launched Gwamaki, a smaller format store designed for township communities and neighborhoods. The first outlet opened in Tembisa and Ekurhuleni, with stores planned for other areas in the Western Cape also. Clicks says it wants to have 10 Gwamaki stores operating by the end of this year. Annelita Fandese has more.
Click says the stores are significantly smaller than their traditional stores and will focus on everyday essentials, including baby products, personal care, beauty, household items, and front shop healthcare products. The format will also allow smaller pack sizes, targeting cash-constrained consumers who shop more frequently. Click CEO Bettina Engelbrecht says the new format is about reaching communities that its traditional stores cannot serve. She says Click sees around 2,000 potential locations that are not suitable for its existing store format. The group has allocated 30 million rand to the initial 10-store pilot. Click says Gwamaki could eventually become a significant growth engine, including beyond South Africa. Annelita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
And the Spanish Interior Ministry has urged residents to remain calm following protests against illegal migrants. The demonstrations against the migrants have sparked tensions. At least 60,000 people crossed into Spain over several days last month, triggering a Europe-wide migrant alert. Protesters clashed with police yesterday at a beach where migrants have been sleeping. The demonstrators even burnt some of their belongings. Government has warned that authorities will take action against anyone who commits acts of vandalism. While it's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today, temperatures have peaked at highs of between 22 and 24 degrees.
Four-ways bumper-to-bumper traffic on Winnie Mandela Drive from the N1 to Broad Acres Drive. Sharon Lee, traffic also sluggish on Malibongwe Drive. This is between the N1 and Belez. Leaving Sandton, heading towards the M1 this afternoon. Traffic already backed up on Greyston Drive. This is between Rivonia Road and Catherine Street.
The top story in EWN, Cabinet has condemned a recent spate of what's believed to have been politically motivated killings.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Alex, yeah, I'll venture a guess. I think what they were trying to pass on to Julius Mkhwanazi, I think it's a Nando's drumstick. We know how much that man loves his Nando's during the lunch break at court. Cheers.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. There was a photograph of Julius Mkhwanazi with his packet of Nando's getting out of the police van. So hence that comment. Yeah, maybe somebody was giving him a snack.
Nando's feeds your inner fire with flavor.
the Midday Report
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
It's a good thing you're naked when pulling into a petrol station. Because what if the pedal you just stamped on wasn't the brake? With Naked, you can submit your accident claim instantly on the app. Go to naked.insure now and get comprehensive car insurance at a lower premium. Because when bad things happen, it's a good thing you're naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
We're giving you millions of reasons to celebrate with our selection of Lucky Millions Lotto draws. You could claim major jackpots when you pick numbers from thousands of daily draws. Choose numbers on UK 49s, Euro Millions and lots more from just R5 per line. Enjoy more chances and more ways to win, all in one place. Grab your chance to celebrate extraordinary riches when you play Lucky Millions from Hollywood Bets. Bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
Get to Dis-Chem for better deals and better savings on everything you need. Look out for the yellow label to enjoy bulk savings on Better Rewards brands. Swipe your Better Rewards card to get 2+1 cheapest free when you buy any Nutriderma face care products. Plus, get 2+1 cheapest free on any Rimmel products. Offers valid until 13 September, only at Dis-Chem. Better health starts here.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. So I don't know what plans you have for the weekend, but here's a good reason to change them. The Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank, is on today and over the weekend as well. And it will bring the energy and excitement and adrenaline of motoring to life at the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit. Now, there's all sorts of stuff you can do. This is not just a place to go and look and watch. You can sign up for exhilarating track experiences, get involved with performance cars. You can do some 4x4 adventuring. There are handling experiences and all of this with the sights and sounds of Kyalami as the background. Now, whether you're a serious petrol head looking for your next car, chasing an adrenaline rush, or simply looking for an exciting day out, the Festival of Motoring brings cars, experiences, entertainment, food, and the motoring community together in one place for 3 glorious days of motoring energy and entertainment. The Festival of Motoring is powered by Westbank. It's on at the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit from today, Saturday and Sunday. You can get tickets on Howler, but before you do it, why don't you see if you can win one of the 2 tickets, or the 2 tickets, because we're not giving away them one at a time. We're giving away a pair of tickets to actually go to this fabulous event. All of this taking place in partnership with 702. Now, the very last time there was a Grand Prix at Kyalami was in 1993. First caller who can tell us who won the race and what car were they driving. Who won the 1993 Grand Prix and what race car were they driving? If you're quick and you know, call. Do it now, and your weekend is now all planned. You're off to the Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank in partnership with 702.
EWN Sport.
Tola Kele Mganga cannot enter because she's on the phone with us right now. Not on the phone. She's with us right now to tell us what's happening. We're starting off with some cricket on the way.
Yes, John, we are. And we start in Windhoek. That's when Namibia posted 163 for 9. That's in the first T20 against the Proteas. As Personal Srupian took 3 for 32 and Jan Vreilig top scored for the hosts with 60. South Africa have yet to get their response underway, while in team news, Lutho Sipamla is undergoing further assessments, having left the field due to a left hamstring injury. Switching over to rugby, where there's been a late change to the Springbok team for tomorrow's test against New Zealand, with wing Cheslin Colby and fly half Sasha Feinberg Mgomezulu drafted into the side. Colby has recovered from the knock that he suffered in the opening rugby's greatest rivalry test. That sees Curtly Arendse drop out of the match day 23 as a result. For Henry Pollard, he's been ruled out after confirmation from assistant coach Mzwandile Stick that he's now picked up an ankle injury.
I think it happened on Wednesday. I think he went for testing now. So I can't really go deep and say how long he's going to be out for, but it's a calf injury. I know it's a sad situation, but for a leader like him to be honest about how he feels and lose his pride in a sense of, listen, I'm not feeling well at that moment in the training sessions. I could see he was going through tears. He's been in good shape. He's been working very hard, even when he was not in the match 23. He's been positive and trying to assist the guys. So I feel for him, and hopefully he can recover quickly.
Leroy Carter's looking to impress for the All Blacks, having been named at wing in the place of Josh Morby for the clash in Cape Town. He goes into the encounter to be better all round, especially when it comes to the high ball.
Yeah, just try to catch it, It's been the goal for a while, but now we're putting plenty of work into it, we're just sometimes we're not getting the scraps right, and they have some good wingers in the air, to be fair. So, we just got to get up in the air early and, catch it.
A spot in the final of the MTN 8 is the prize for the winner of this weekend's second leg semi-final. Orlando Pirates are 1-0 up against Kukuna United, while Mamelodi Sundowns must overturn a goal deficit against Lamontville Golden Arrows. That's if they're to reach the finale. Going into their Sunday encounter, Miguel Cardoso's Brazilians have been boosted by the goal-scoring return of midfield kingpin Teboho Mokoena.
When you have the best players available, you become stronger. The team becomes stronger and the coaches become stronger, and the other players that are pairing on the sides, and the team also feels stronger. You need to speak by the quality of Teboho. He's a very stable player in the squad, a very important one. And when the best players are available, obviously the team becomes stronger, especially in the middle, in a midfield that already had lost Jaden Adams. So when the pairing is broken and you lose both players that gave the stability throughout the season, obviously any team will suffer, any team will struggle.
And match day 2 in the Premier League kicks off tonight with the clash between Crystal Palace at home to Manchester City. Enzo Maresca has discussed what's Ryan Cherky's role in his team, having impressed as a sub in the win over Bournemouth.
In terms of quality, is different player compared to the rest, because he can give us, in some moment when we struggle, but especially in the last third, he can give us quality. That is what we need. Depends a lot also on the game plan, about the opponent they play, if they play in one way, in the other way. But no doubt, he's going to help now, in the future. Even Ryan is still very young. I think he's 22, 23. He's going to help us, and I'm very happy with in the way he's working.
Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
18 minutes to 4. Traffic is always busy early on a Friday, and we've got it getting busy right here in Sandton. Karabo Charlie with the details.
Yeah, leaving the Sandton area, heading towards the M1. Traffic backed up on Grayston Drive between Rivonia Road and Catherine Street. While in Sharon Lee, traffic sluggish on Malibongwe Drive. This is between the N1 and Belize. Krugersdorp, there's also some delays on the R28 between Robert Broom and Hendrik Potgieter. While in Kempton Park, there's an accident seen on Pretoria Road near CR Swart, causing delays from Plain Street. And in Bursley, still in Kempton Park, traffic pressure on Modderfontein Road between Mooirivier and Pretoria Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702 proudly presents the Dina Letty stage at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2026.
We're gonna have some fun. You guys ready?
This is Jazz Reignited.
Jazz.
Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.
702
Call John
on 011
883
0702.
Well, the very first Grand Prix was held at Kyalami in 1967. Do you know, before that, South African Grand Prix were held in East London at a venue called the Prince George Circuit. First one in 1967 in the north of Joburg. The last one was in 1993. For 2 tickets to attend the Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank in partnership with 702, the question we asked was, who won the very last Grand Prix held at the venue? And Zahid is calling us from the south of Joburg. Zahid, you believe you know the right answer. Share it with us. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, John. I think it's Alan Prost, and for way back then it was Williams-Renault team.
It was absolutely Alain Prost, Williams-Renault. Now, you can win yourself a bonus. If you get the next question right, you don't have to go to the Festival of Motoring with me. But if you don't, unfortunately, I'm your +1. Do you know who came second?
It was Ayrton Senna.
You made it. You made it. You can go with whoever you like. Not that I would have ever made you go with me. But Zahid, well done. Yeah, I mean, one of the great rivalries in Grand Prix racing playing out at Kyalami the last time we had a Grand Prix in South Africa. The Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank at the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit. You may not have won the tickets, but they are available on Howler. Brought to you by Westbank in partnership with 702. It's 3:45.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
So we've been asking the question, somebody who gets mixed up with you. I did ask the question about, is it due to you having the same name? A lot of you are giving us stories about people who look alike. So I guess, let's stretch it and you can come up with anything you like. This one from Siatemba is intriguing. My twin sister visited me at my workplace one day and was able to open the main door using the facial recognition system. It confused her with me. Needless to say, our IT people were very concerned. I wonder if that could become a condition of employment, that you have to declare whether you have an identical twin or not. And, given the way in which all these kind of things are actually going, where facial recognition comes into play. Tolakele, we were prompted by an election in the US in Alaska, where both candidates are called Dan Sullivan. And one of them got an endorsement from the former mayor of Alaska's biggest city, Anchorage, whose name is Dan Sullivan. And he said, I'm all behind Dan Sullivan. Anyway, have you gotten into any mix-ups, either because of your surname or your first name?
Not because of my surname or my first name. One for how I look and 2 for my voice.
Okay.
For the how I look, I have a cousin that she's like maybe 15 years older than me, but side by side, people always say to her, are you secretly her mother? And then you've never told her.
Yes.
That's how much you look. So when I used to spend school holidays in Naledi in Soweto, like someone would walk past and say, hi, lady, and I keep quiet.
Yes.
And then when they see her later in the day, they're like, you were so rude to me. Why didn't you?
Yes.
And they'd be like, it wasn't me. So like I spent most of my childhood having to deal with people saying, you're lady, and I'm not. And then the other one is a voice twin, Shonim Timkulu from ENCA.
Okay.
It's been for years. I remember this one time Tulasizo Simelane once tweeted, we can see Hloni on TV and we can hear Tolagele on the radio, but there's no official picture of them together.
Yes.
So how do we know that it's the two of them? So people always say we're voice twins. We even send each other like the different tweets and pictures whenever people accuse us of being twins.
But on a serious note, I mean, there's access to certain services that you have and stuff that is your private stuff that is based on voice recognition, isn't it?
So maybe she can scam me or I can scam her.
Yeah, think about it. Hloni, I'm sure you're listening. If you're not, you might even be here. Let us know if any weird things happen on your accounts. We'll give you some clues as to where to look. Give us your stories, please. Your name getting mixed up with other people's names. Of course, the really famous one was the he was from the DRC, and I'm sure you've heard this story. A man named Guy, and I don't have his surname on the tip of my tongue at the moment, and he was at the BBC applying for a job in tech. There was another guy called Guy who is an expert on all things to do with the internet. I think it was to do with the judgment made by the European Union. Can't remember who was involved, Apple or one of the big tech companies. It doesn't really matter. But they said this guy here, he put his hand up, found himself in the studio being interviewed. So that, I think that happened about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, can't recall. But people mixing up your name with either funny outcomes or perhaps some that ended up being quite awkward. Give me a ring on that on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. It's 11 minutes to 4.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
As the operator of the National Lottery, Sizekaya continues to innovate your lottery experience. To find out more, today we're in conversation with Kgotatso KG Mashile, Head of Marketing at Sizekaya. We'll unpack their latest innovation, delve into the challenges and opportunities involved in building a new lottery operator, and discuss the future of the National Lottery on 702. Kgotatso, welcome. It's good to have you with us on 702 Drive.
Good afternoon, and thank you to you and your listeners.
So, I mean, you've been doing this for a while now, but not for an incredibly long time, so a lot of it is still fresh. I mean, what have been some of the biggest challenges? What's been the most fun?
Yeah, I mean, concluding the third month of us operating this month, and I must tell you, it has been a roller coaster ride, and very exciting one to mention. With coming in as a new operator, we'll obviously face the challenges of the transition from previous to the new operator, along with, like you said, all the new innovations that we have introduced, which obviously we are. We are aware that getting the end user, which is our primary goal, to understand and adapt to the new games. We didn't reinvent the wheel, but we certainly made the games more exciting, as well as really separating them from the old game convention, the new one. So very exciting, but we're good. We're good.
I mean, it's a very competitive space out there, and innovation is crucial. I mean, how do you guys go about that at Sizekaya, KG? Because you don't want to be changing too much, and you don't want to bring in things and say brand new, and then people say so you got to make sure that you really nail it. What's your approach?
Sure, I think it's not over introducing all the products at one time, right? So for multiplayer, as an example, we introduced Multiplay 1, which gave players an opportunity to add an additional number to their number selection. So, for example, the game 652 gave us an opportunity to add a seventh number when a player chooses their number selections. And then 3 months later, going into the 1st of September, excited, we are introducing Multiplay 2, which gives a player an opportunity to play 8 numbers and still have the opportunity to win on 6. So I don't know, John, what you use if you are a National Lottery player to play your numbers. If it's your family's birthdays, now you can actually add that auntie and that uncle that you always miss, and it's just slowly introducing all the innovations, which is ultimately giving players an opportunity to win more.
So, when you decided to bring in Multiplay 2 and, you're saying, okay, 6 numbers, let's stretch it out to 8. What was the gap that you thought might be there?
Yeah, right. So the probability and the odds of winning had become so difficult for the end user and the players, and it makes the game and the National Lottery experience quite daunting and boring, and jackpot fatigue starts kicking in, right? So we had to really find solutions and innovative solutions at that to really give the games a better edge and give the players an opportunity to win more. So your cascading jackpots, for example, which has been fantastic, where at the end of the month, the jackpot, instead of rolling over to the next week, we would cascade it down to the lower divisions, just so that we ensure that we try really find these winners. And with multiplay, for example, where then we give a player an opportunity to pick 8 numbers and still win on 6 once the live draws have concluded. So it's really jackpot fatigue, which was the business challenge, and us saying, let's create more South African jackpot winners through the National Lottery.
And just finally, KG, I mean, if you look at the National Lottery in the life of South Africa at a time when there are perhaps more gaming options than ever before. 3 months in, but a long road to go. How do you see the coming year and the years after that as Caesar Khaya?
Well, I think, the first thing we will say is more jackpot winners, right? That's what we're about. Definitely really Africanizing the experience, bringing the experience back to South Africa, for South Africans, by South Africans. That's always been our philosophy, and that's what we were about. So it's really just ensuring that we tick all the boxes, and through the research that we're doing now, trying to understand what's working, what's not working, what the South Africans are liking about Caesar Khaya and what they don't like, and really working as a team collectively to correct anything that may be uncomfortable. But also, because we believe in the product and the innovations that we've come up with, it's really just to amplify them and make that experience that much better for the end user. So we are working on each and every single, let's call it, query that's come in,
yes.
From the users or from the players rather, and it's always in an effort to really give that gaming experience a proper South African feel more than anything. But more than that, it's really to give the end user an experience that they are proud to call a national lottery operation.
Thanks so much, Kgotatso KG Mashile, Head of Marketing at Caesar Khaya. This has been 702 Drive with me, John Perlman, in conversation with the National Lottery operator, Caesar Khaya. And the National Lottery continues to evolve, and Caesar Khaya is bringing new innovations designed to create more plays, more chances, and more opportunities to win. From 1 September, South Africans will see the introduction of Multiplay 2, one of the latest innovations aimed at giving players better chances to win the jackpot. It's all part of Caesar Khaya's commitment to building a more exciting and evolving national lottery experience, creating more chances, more plays, and more millions.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
Is it true that Wagyu beef cows get massages?
There are a lot of Wagyu cattle that
Yes.
will live a better quality life than you and then get eaten. They get sung, some get massaged, some get only sip on champagne and milk. But that is not our Wagyu.
Yes.
We enjoy our free range. They enjoy some of the lushest, most greenest, most beautiful fresh air out in the Eastern Cape.
Yes.
They enjoy a high quality, sweeter grain. And in actual fact, as we change our cattle from different pasture to different pasture, you can actually even taste the grass.
General Manager Nkandla Nkoko.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
So the other day I get this call from an insurance company. They asked me if I knew what their third-party policy entails. I said, third party? Whoa, big dog. I haven't even been invited to the first one yet. And they just put down the phone. I don't get it.
Don't get that insurance. Get Pineapple. It's easy to get and online. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurance authorized FSP. T's and C's apply.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports. No more disconnected systems. No more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on istratgo.com. istratgo.com.
This advert is paid for by the political party concerned.
Eish,
I love my hometown, but for too long now, I look around and think we deserve better than this. The water goes off for days, the streets are falling apart, and things never get fixed. Look, I'm not asking for anything fancy. I just want basics to work. And I know they can work because I've seen it where the Democratic Alliance is in charge. I want our town to work for all. So in this election, I'm voting DA.
This advert was paid for by the political party concerned.
You're with John Perlman
On 702.
Just tracking what's going on in Nepal and Tibet, that terrible, terrible flash flood and the death toll, we're just learning, has now risen to 543. But equally concerning is the fact that there are more than 1,500 people still unaccounted for, still missing. Any breaking news on that particular story, we'll be sure to let you know. Coming up on 702 Drive, the crime stats have been released. We're going to take a closer look at what the numbers tell us and what questions are prompted and raised by the numbers. For example, the one that always catches my eye is when sexual offences either, go down, whether it's sharply or not. Is that because that crime is diminishing, or people's confidence in the value of actually reporting the crime and trying to get the criminal justice system to act has dipped? And you could say the same with burglaries. Is that a measure of the fact that burglaries have gone down, or people are unable to afford household insurance in the numbers they used to, and therefore they're not bothering to get a case number? I realize it's complex and there's much more to learn. That's why we'll talk about it in depth after 5 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock now.
This is EWN.
Nkandla in KZN records the highest number of contact crimes, and judgment in Mkhwanazi's bail application has been reserved. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. South Africa's latest crime figures show that violent crimes remain heavily concentrated in a relatively small number of policing precincts. Nkandla in KZN recorded the highest number of contact crimes between April and June, followed by Mfuleni and Delft in the Western Cape. But while some of the country's most crime-affected stations recorded declines, others have seen sharp increases. This has all been revealed in statistics released by the Police Ministry this afternoon. Mongezi Koko reports.
SAPS crime registrar Tularis Kukune says Nkandla recorded 1,056 contact crimes during the first quarter of the financial year, up more than 10% from the same period last year. Mfuleni recorded 975 cases despite a 12% decline. Delft recorded 872 contact crimes, while Tembisa in Gauteng recorded 850, a 16% increase. But stations including Nyanga, Khayelitsha and Johannesburg Central recorded fewer contact crimes than during the same period last year.
11 stations from the province of Gauteng, 10 stations that are in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, 8 provinces that are in the province of the Western Cape.
Police say the figures reinforce the need to target resources and intelligence at the precincts carrying the greatest burden of violent crime. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News.
Mpumalanga taxi boss Joe Sibanyoni has told the Madlanga Commission he was the successor of Jotham Msibi at a prominent taxi association following Msibi's death 2 years ago. Msibi, described as a taxi mogul, was said to have a powerful influence over associations countrywide. He's also been accused of leading the alleged Big Five cartel. Sibanyoni outlined his turbulent history with Msibi to the Commission today, including Msibi's alleged orchestration of 2 separate hits on his life. Msibi died in January 2024, leaving a vacuum in the taxi industry's leadership.
Then as to now they're frustrated as to who must take over. Then I advised them that it cannot just be a matter of you telling me in my house, then I assume the position. Can we go to conference? It was my first AGM with the association and me voted in as the president of the organization.
Just for the record, what is that organization?
South African Local and Long Distance Taxis and Bus Organization.
Thank you.
Judgment has been reserved in the latest bail application of suspended EMPD Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi. This follows questions raised in the Germiston Magistrates Court today over his other pending bail application in the Brakpan Magistrates Court. In that court, Mkhwanazi faces charges in connection with the alleged killing of Brakpan businessman Emmanuel Mbenze in 2022. During today's proceedings, Mkhwanazi's co-accused, Ekurhuleni Fleet Manager Chris Steyn, was granted bail, while alleged crime kingpin Vusumuzi Matala abandoned his bail application. The trio faced charges linked to allegations that 4 of Matlala's private vehicles were unlawfully fitted with blue lights. Magistrate Trevor Claassen has postponed that matter to the 14th of September.
I am further of the view that the accused person, number one, will not suffer prejudice at this juncture, seeing that he in any event is in custody. Case is postponed to the 14th of September in respect of accused number 1 only. Accused number 2 in custody. Accused number 3, bail is granted in the amount of 10,000 rand.
The Department of International Relations is speaking to its missions in China in attempts to track down South Africans believed to be missing following deadly floods in Nepal. This has been confirmed by Minister in the Presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, who briefed journalists earlier today. At least 6 South Africans are reported to be unreachable, leaving their families in distress. Speaking at a post-cabinet briefing today, Ntshavheni said the International Relations Department will respond as and when there are developments.
The situation in Nepal, we all recognize is still a life situation, wherein the disaster is still not abated. And we are talking to our missions that are close around the area in China so that we can respond. We are in touch with the authorities.
And in Cambodia, more than 700 online scam centres have been shut down over the past year. Government says more than 58,000 foreign nationals have been deported and more than 30,000 suspects have been arrested. The arrests include 15 high-ranking officials and law enforcement officers, including alleged scam boss Chen Zi, a Chinese-born chairman of a multi-million-dollar conglomerate. Government is warning, however, that although the large-scale sites have been completely cleared, criminal groups have altered their tactics to small-scale activities. Gold is trading at $4,595.77 an ounce. The rand is at 16.01 to the dollar, 21.73 to the pound, 18.64 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $88.93 a barrel.
Sharon Lee, traffic sluggish on Malibongwe Drive between the N1 and Belaise, while in Kempton Park there's an accident scene on Pretoria Road near CR Swart, causing some delays from Plain Street, and in Bursley, still in Kempton Park, traffic pressure on Morafontein Road between Mooirivier and Pretoria Road.
In your sport, Henry Pollard suffers ankle injury as Springboks make 2 late changes for the second test against the All Blacks. Leroy Carter braces for Springbok backlash in that second test. And Mamelodi Sundowns looking to overturn deficit as they target MTN 8 final spot.
A fine Saturday in Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 6 degrees, peaking at 21. Pretoria 9 and 22, and Vereeniging 7 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN. South Africa's latest crime figures show that violent crime remains heavily concentrated in a relatively small number of policing precincts.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, 7 minutes past 4. The weekend draws closer. For some of you, you might already be home or sitting somewhere pleasantly and having something hot or perhaps something cold and stretching leisurely into Friday and Friday evening and the Saturday and Sunday that are ahead. Anything special happening to you? I haven't asked you that question for a while. Maybe there's a family celebration. Maybe you are taking part in an all-important sports event, school sports event, perhaps maybe your local tennis club and you're in the semi-finals or the finals. Maybe you're in a choir competition, or maybe you've got something special going on at your church. If you want to tell us what's going on, give us a ring on 011 883 0702 072 702 1702. And if you'd like us to wish you well for any of these special things, tell us what it is and we'll be more than happy to do that. It's always wonderful when the weekend brings something special, and I hope that applies to you. Coming up on the show, really looking forward to talking to Advocate Thuli Madonsela. As public protector, she looked into the upgrades that were conducted at the home of the former president, Cyril Ramaphosa, Jacob Zuma at Nkandla, and produced a report called Secure in Comfort. And we're going to talk to her a little bit about that, because the prompt for this is Nkandla Makanya, who is the architect put in charge of the entire project, has just found out that the special tribunal of the SIU has ruled that he's got to pay back 147 million rand. Now, it's a very detailed finding, but the question I've been asking is, seriously, I mean, is it all laid at his door? And indeed, Justice K. Pillay, who was overseeing this particular tribunal, asked exactly that question and said that, the judge said, I don't believe that this could have been one person acting alone, but the SIU chose to only go after, as it would seem, Mr. Makanya. How does that square away with what Advocate Madonsela found all those years ago when she published her report? That interview coming up shortly. 702 drivers, good to have you with us. We ask questions about mistaken identity, either based on your name or your looks. Prue, by the way, says, my daughter is playing at the Indoor Netball Sports Arena Under 12 Super League. Good luck, Prue. Pass that on to your daughter, please. I hope it's fun, and hope part of the fun is actually winning whatever match you are playing, because winning is pretty cool, I think. 10 minutes past 4.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, so my name is Liz, and my sister's name is Shawnee. So our voices, me, my older sister, and my mom, and my elder sister, we all sound alike. So the funny thing is, the other day I was on social media and I was hosting a live, and somebody decided to take a screenshot and send it to my sister, and she's like, are you related to this girl? Because she sounds just like you. And, my sister was like, yo, this is so freaky, because we are always receiving messages like that. Like, just because we sound alike, people can already tell that we are related. The other story is that, like, my mom, when she calls in the morning, because our names are so similar. So my own name is Annie and hers is Shawnee. So sometimes she'll call me and then she'll start telling me Shawnee's stuff. And I'm just like, but mommy, that's not her. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Your voices sound the same,
Hi, John. Mine is my sister. We are 6 sisters at home, but there's one who is number 4. She looks so much like me, according to people that she once came visit me. I was at varsity. So, and then she will go around, maybe she's walking during the day because her schools were closed, and people will greet her. She will answer, but of course she would not give you the energy that you expect from someone you know. And then I will meet a person later and be like, Lindeni, I saw you today. Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, with so much energy. But you didn't see me. Okay. I'm like, oh, you saw my sister. You didn't see me. So, yeah. Thank you. It's Lindeni in Kailami.
Yeah, thanks for those. And I'm particularly interested where somebody who has the same name as you gets confused with you, or you get confused with them. And tell us what happened. Was it funny, or was it awkward, or in fact, potentially problematic? 12 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. The rush hour today began out in Bryanston on Winnie Mandela Drive. Karabo, as I recall, is that where we've still got problems?
Now, that part of Four Ways Bryanston looking much better now, John. That's Winnie Mandela Drive between the N1 and Broad Acres. However, if you're leaving Bryanston heading into Four Ways, leaving Rivonia heading into Four Ways, there's heavy delays on the N1 southbound from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive. Sharon Lee, traffic also sluggish on Malibongwe Drive. This is between the N1 and Belize. Kempton Park, we have that accident scene on Pretoria Road near CR Swart, causing delays from Plain Road. Still in Kempton Park, this time in Bursley. Traffic pressure on Morafontein Road between Mooirivier and Pretoria Road. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The OUTsurance Pointsmen can't help you with your fitness goals, but they can get the traffic flowing smoothly so you get to the gym in time for that cardio workout. The OUTsurance Pointsmen are real heroes in green and purple, easing traffic congestion and making our lives easier for almost 21 years. Just another way you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online using hashtag PointsmenLove. OUTsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Everyone has their first, that life-changing moment when the music spoke to your soul and you both listened. With global icons Kamasi Washington, Angelique Kidjo, Themba Mkhize and Africa Mkhize, Ibrahim Malouf, Flowetree, Manana, Internet Ati, and over 40 world-class acts. This is Jazz Reignited, the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, 25th and 26th September. Buy your weekend pass now via Ticketmaster.
Elevate your flying experience with Lift Premium. Enjoy even more space, comfort, and convenience with priority boarding, extra baggage allowance, and complimentary lounge access. Visit lift.co.za today.
Zonke celebrates a major milestone. The online gaming powerhouse from Hollywood Bets now offers over 3,000 games. Spinner Zonke boasts unbeatable diversity and range, featuring a wealth of games from across the gaming spectrum. Over 35 of the world's top game design studios feature in the sizzling slot on Spinner Zonke. Gripping graphics and sublime sound ensure the most immersive gaming experience imaginable. Play now.
Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
You'll drive 20 extra minutes, walk past 3 competitors, ignore every special sign, just to get to your place, your bakery, your bookshop, your car wash, your family restaurant. Because loyalty doesn't always choose the closest, it chooses the best. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Rewarding the local businesses and entrepreneurs that have earned that place in your life. The businesses that deliver every time and keep you coming back for more. Go to primemediaplus.com now to view the awards categories and nominate the business that's earned your loyalty. Because if they're worth the drive, they're worth the nomination. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Less admin, more time for what you love. Yoko, let's grow on 702 and primemediaplus.com.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, just battling to get hold of Professor Thuli Madonsela. We're trying to get through to her out in Stellenbosch. And the reason, if you've just joined us, that we really want to talk to her about is her Secure and Comfort report, which she did when she was public protector, when she was taking a closer look at what happened with the upgrades at former President Jacob Zuma's home in Nkandla. And we're doing this prompted by news that the architect who was overseeing the project, Nkandla Makanya, there's a ruling by the Special Tribunal of the Special Investigating Unit saying that he's responsible for payments of 147 million rand. That is a lot of money in a set of circumstances where people, I think, justifiably are asking, could he have done all of this on his own? So I think Prof. Madonsela is certainly the one who'd have an insight into, well, who else was actually involved? Who else was actually involved in what happened out at Nkandla? I think we've got the line sorted out. Prof. Madonsela, very good afternoon to you and welcome to 702 Drive.
Good afternoon, John. Thank you for this privilege, and good afternoon to the listeners.
Great to have you with us. I mean, the first thing that struck me when I heard about the penalty levied against Mr. Nkandla was surely it can't be all on him. And I'm wondering, from your extensive digging into this issue and the rest of the team that you had with you at the Public Protector's Office, what was your first response? I mean, it does seem a lot to lay on the shoulders of one man.
I haven't read the decision of the tribunal. I didn't get an opportunity to read it, but like you, on the face of it, it is surprising because a service provider is outside the system. There are people in the system whose job is guardianship of these funds. And he would suggest, but he would not command. So if he made a suggestion on what needed to be done, somebody in the system made a decision that it had to be done. And I'm a bit surprised, therefore, that they only expecting him. Yes, he was conflicted in that he was the president's personal project manager.
Yes.
On the president's private improvements. He was also the project manager on this, and that gave him a very difficult role. And it is also true that because he was representing the president, people would have struggled to disagree with him. But there were ministers. There was a minister, there was a deputy minister, there was a director general, and certainly those people were high enough to be able to push back.
I don't have your report in front of me, but I mean, in the course of the research and investigation you did to produce Secure and Comfort, did you engage with Mr. Nkandla? And can you share with us if you did? I mean, what did he say? Did he talk about undue pressure? I mean, what did you glean from your engagements with him?
No, he didn't speak about having any undue pressure when we spoke to him. Incidentally, the people who defended what happened there were the people in the system. That's why I'm surprised that he's the one now getting the flag all by himself. It was the people in the system that defended and said, in their view, there were no guardrails as to how much could be spent on the president. And then we made it clear that the guidelines were very clear that you could spend on defined, the list of things that could be defined as security features was defined, and therefore you couldn't redefine luxuries and make them security features. For example, the swimming pool and the turning of the water retention wall into an amphitheater, where all of those things that were done, the chicken coop, all of those things could not necessarily be classified as security features.
One thing that jumps out, and I'm just reading a summary of the tribunal's report, Prof, but I mean, they talk about there were payments made to Money Mine Investments 310, that's a closed corporation, and Bonelena 12 Construction and Projects. These totaled almost 55 million rand. Now, surely, and by the way, the wording of the report says they couldn't establish what specific work had been undertaken or whether it had actually been completed. I mean, that just sounds to me like a flush of cash to somebody who clearly had done nothing to earn it. I mean, to me, it's unimaginable why, first of all, the holders, the people who own those companies are not named, and secondly, added to what appears to be a substantial investigation by the SIU, which has both power and expertise.
You are absolutely right, because again, when we did the Oilgate investigation, you will remember that the Supreme Court of Appeal held the public protector accountable for failing to follow the money up to every place where it went to. So you're right that these others could have been checked out and looked at what did they provide. But that said, I'm in no position to criticize the tribunal at this stage because I haven't read the report.
Fair
I'm
enough.
just giving you preliminary views, which are similar to yours, that there was a whole value chain involved here. So it would be interesting to find out why this one particular person ends up carrying the can virtually all by themselves. Again, I'm not defending the fellow.
Sure.
He was part of a scheme that looted from the state. And the worst part is that money that was harvested to pay for these luxuries was money that had been set aside for CT improvement, for poverty alleviation, particularly youth employment. And when the Mail and Guardian broke the story, I think it was Mandy Rousseau, if I'm not mistaken, she pointed out these things, and one of the officials inside the system pointed out to say, but we don't have any more budget for these things, and the money that you want us to transfer is for a specific purpose, which was city rehabilitation and youth empowerment, youth employment being at the core of it. So I am not going to say it's wrong to claw back the money. I would say it would be interesting to find out if there's proportionality in attributing culpability for what went wrong.
And just finally, Prof, and briefly, if you can, I mean, part of any public protector report is suggestions, or they're not recommendations. They, as the court found, I think, are binding. You said certain things should happen and there should be consequences. If you were to look back on what you set down as action that needed to follow, was any of it done? Was all of it done? Was some of it done?
Well, yes, they did get back some of the money from the president, a very, very small portion of it, because it was up to a determination by Treasury, and Treasury determined the amount quite low. And that becomes quite an interesting thing to me, because the money that had to be recouped would be the money that was ill-spent. Now, if we're then saying the money that is ill-spent is the money that has to be paid by this one service provider, it would be interesting how then the tribunal apportioned the different culpabilities and benefits.
Thank you so much. Professor Thuli Madonsela, former public protector, her thoughts on 147 million rands worth of blame attached to the architect responsible for the upgrades at Nkandla, the personal home of former President Jacob Zuma. Lots and lots of questions still to ask on this. I'll think about it over the weekend and see where else we can dig. 26 minutes past 4.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Mabota, 1 to 3 p.m.
Is it true that Wagyu beef cows get massages?
There are a lot of Wagyu cattle that will live a better quality life than you, and then get eaten. They get sung, some get massaged, some get only sip on champagne and milk. But that is not our Wagyu.
Yes.
We enjoy our free range. They enjoy some of the lushest, most greenest, most beautiful fresh air out in the Eastern Cape.
Yes.
They enjoy a high quality, sweeter grain. And in actual fact, as we change our cattle from different pasture to different pasture, you can actually even taste the grass.
General Manager Nkandla Nkoko.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Mabota.
Let's walk the talk.
Planning for retirement doesn't have to be overwhelming. Join PPS on 19 September for its annual retirement summit. If you're under 45, David Mashabelo will guide conversations on wealth building. If you're over 45, Bruce Whitfield will share insights on how one idea can unlock meaningful outcomes. Each program is designed for your life stage, with a meal, networking, and practical insights for your financial future. At only 150 Rand per person, book now at pps.co.za/retirement summit. PPS, success is better shared and a clearer plan. PPS is a licensed life insurer, controlling company, and authorized FSP.
More Mamillion here, and yes, I am a millionaire. Are you ready to play Multiplay 2 from the 1st of September? I hope so. Multiplay 2, a new way to multiply your chances of winning the Powerball and the Lotto. Think about it like this. Multi is for multiple combinations. Play is for play more chances. And 2 is for 2 extra numbers. Now you can choose 8 numbers. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizakai.
At Checkers, every day gets better and better. Get better freshness, better choices, and better value for money. With deals like Dower Egberts Instant Coffee, 200 or 230 grams for $179.99. Bonita or Parmalat Salted Butter, 500 grams, any 2 for 139 Rand. And Shower to Shower Deodorant or Roll-On, 50 or 150 mils, any 2 for 69 Rand. Valid until 6 September, only at Checkers.
EWN Business.
Okay, let's find out what's happening on the markets today. Looked pretty good when I last looked, but Moteo Khwaripe has been keeping much more of an eye on it than me, and he's here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. A big buoyant rebound for the JSE this afternoon, pushed up by mining shares. One of them, Northern Platinum, reporting a nearly 8-fold increase in annual profit. That's over 700%, helped by record production and higher PGM prices. These strong results allowed Northern to declare a record final dividend of 10 Rand per share. Northam's refined PGM production increased by 4%, while chrome production jumped 17% to a record 1.6 million tons. The higher prices also boosted revenue, which rose 64% to 54 billion Rand. The results come as Northam considers its options following an unsolicited bid from platinum producer Valterra Platinum. Then looking at news elsewhere internationally, U.S. economy growing, although in a sluggish pace. GDP grew at 1.5% in the second quarter of 2026, slower than the 2.1% growth recorded in the first quarter. The latest data shows that consumers and businesses performed better than initially reported. Consumer spending rose 3.4%, while business investment increased by 8.5%. It's that U.S. inflation, though, that's been hurting U.S. consumers, up 3.6%. Looking at the markets, the all share currently before market close, about 30 minutes out, at 682 points, quite good compared to yesterday. Industrials up more than 1%, banking stocks stronger by 1%, with mining shares also coming in a little lower. Valterra up more than 5%. The Rand at this hour, 16 Rand 10 cents, weakening as we go off to market close. 18 Rand 71 against the euro, 21 Rand 83 cents against the British pound. Price of gold, $4,576 an ounce. It's down 0.5%. Platinum at $1,879. Brent crude, $87.35 a barrel. I'll have more business and what's on the money show in about an hour.
Thanks, Muteo. 29 minutes now to 5 o'clock. The latest eyewitness news with Mbali Dlamini, higher education in the spotlight, I believe.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Yes, the Department of Higher Education has admitted that the National Student Financial Aid Scheme is facing a major crisis in student accommodation. The department says the lack of bed space for students at universities and TVET colleges is leaving thousands of students with no accommodation, which affects their studies. The department and student organizations took part in a colloquium on funding today. Babalondenze has more.
Students have recently held protests and marches against the NSFAS, where they called for the removal of the accommodation cap. Students say the cap of between 50,000 Rand and 60,000 Rand is not enough to cover their rental, leaving them without accommodation. Higher Education and Training Deputy Director General Nolwazi Gasa says this has reached crisis levels.
As the Honorable Chairperson indicated, we are
facing a crisis. And this crisis necessitates a need for partnerships.
But Minister Buti Manamela says the crisis did not begin when the cap was introduced in 2023.
The accommodation crisis did not begin with the NSFAS cap in 2023. But it also did not begin, just now in 2026. It has been built over decades.
Manamela said the cap was introduced to keep costs down because prices were escalating. Babalo Ndenza, Eyewitness News.
SASSA Gold card users have 3 days left to switch to the new Postbank Black cards before access to the social grants is blocked. Chief Commercial Executive Tami Cele says more than 1.8 million beneficiaries have already switched to the Black cards, while fewer than 80,000 are still using the old Gold cards. Cele says the card replacement is standard procedure as all bank cards need to be changed after a certain period. He says Postbank wants all beneficiaries to start afresh with the new cards.
Only the accessing of the funds at the ATM, or if you go to purchase at a retail store, that the Gold card is not working at the time, and therefore you first have to collect the Postbank Black card.
Cele adds that beneficiaries are able to do the migration at some retail shops.
Important to note is that we issue this Postbank Black card for free. We issue them at the sites, locations in retail stores, Pick n Pay, Boxer, ShopRite.
And the International Federation of the Red Cross says the Nepal-Tibet disaster has left an enormous level of trauma. The floods and landslides that struck Nepal and China's Tibet region saw a tsunami-like wall of water burying homes, smashing bridges and sweeping away vehicles. Speaking at a Geneva press conference, head of the delegation of Nepal, David Fisher, says the organizations have not yet been able to access some of the hardest hit areas. The Red Cross fears that the death toll from Wednesday's devastating flooding, which is already above 500, will continue to rise. A fine Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, lows of between 6 and 9 degrees and highs of between 21 and 22.
Bryanston heading towards Four Ways. Expect some delays. N1 South from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive. Sharon Lee, traffic remains sluggish on Malibongo Drive between the N1 and Belize, and driving through Edenville heading towards Bedford View. Slow moving traffic on the R24 westbound from Edenville Road to the Gilulis interchange.
The top story in EWN. The Department of Higher Education has admitted that the National Student Financial Aid Scheme is facing a major crisis in student accommodation.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Watching the Madlanga Commission, Kat Matala faced a lot of questions about Shadrack Sibia. His legal team was at every opportunity to make sure that he doesn't incriminate himself. My issue, though, is that if you can afford legal mind of absolute brilliance, is it possible that the other message that is seeping through is that if you have money, you can basically do whatever you want because our system allows for it?
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Your business needs updated storefront display mannequins, but do you have the cash to fund it? Before you compromise on the core items your business needs, have you looked at saving on your business insurance? Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. For clothing stores, restaurants, convenience stores, beauty salons, pharmacies, and all other businesses, visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurance FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Light the fire this weekend with Checkers. We have everything you need to keep the braai and the geus going strong. Get pork braai chops for $58.99 per kilo. Traditional Texas-style burger patties for $139.99 per kilo. And buy a pack consisting of beef club and T-bone steak for $139.99 and get a 250ml pepper sauce free. Valid until 6 September. Only at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
Strong communities are built on a strong local government. Every day, municipalities work to deliver the essential services that improve lives and support thriving communities across South Africa. As the voice of local government, SALGA represents supports and empowers municipalities to build capable institutions, promote good governance, and advance effective service delivery. Salga, inspiring service delivery.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hey, John and the team. You know, I once dated this guy in university and he was studying mining engineering. And then for his training, he had to go and work at a mine. Then he got to a mine and he met this guy. They were friends. Funny enough, most people at the mine used to confuse them. They used to think the other one is the other one and confuse them. So one day the guys decided, let's try to understand what's happening. Why is this that people think we are brothers, we are the same, they confuse us when they call us. The other one was from Soweto and the other one was from the Northwest. So they decided to ask their parents, what's happening? Parents, this is happening. Only to find they shared a father and they didn't know. They were made aware by people confusing them. They actually shared a father that was staying in the Northwest.
I have a very funny story. So in grade 8, when I started a new school, there was Reneilwe with an OE and Reneilwe me with a WE at the end. So when the teachers used to call us, we would always say which one, because we both say Reneilwe the same way. So we end up saying which one. But luckily, they started calling us by our surnames. But still, with our surnames, we had the same beginning letter. So we were both Reneilwe S. So it was quite funny that they would say, no, Reneilwe S. But we're like, which one? But we both knew that, look, at this point, call us by our full surnames. And that's how I got to be called by my surname from that day on.
Yeah, what an extraordinary story, hey? Turning out that you actually are brothers when people are mixing you up and you can't figure out why. The question we asked is these moments, both wonderful or strange or funny or perhaps awkward, where people have mixed you up with somebody else. 20 minutes to 5.
EWN Sport.
Cricket underway. Proteas up against Namibia. Tolakela, you following the game? Good afternoon.
Afternoon, John. And that's where we start in Windhoek, where the Proteas are chasing 164 for victory in their first T20 Tri-Series clash against Namibia. They're currently at the crease on 77 for the loss of 3 after 11 overs and need 87 runs in 54 balls for victory. Batting is Devald Brevis on 37 alongside Ruben Herman on 12, while Brasland has so far taken 1 wicket. Earlier, the host posted 163 for 9 as Jan Vrylik top scored with 60, while Pernal Subrian took 3 for 32. Switching over to rugby's greatest rivalry, where Cape Town plays host to the second test between the Springboks against the All Blacks tomorrow. Late changes for South Africa have seen Cheslin Colby and Sasha Feinberg Mgomezulu called up in place for Kurtley Arendse and Andre Pollard respectively. Captain Siya Kolisi is also back, having passed a late fitness test after his recovery from a hamstring strain.
I feel good. The hamstring feels good, strong. I think the toughest part was more the mental battle. I think people always think it's the injury itself. You know you're always going to heal, but I think it's the mental one. You know, you don't know which game you're going to be back in, but I have good support, you know, with the coaching staff, but I think my teammates too, and obviously our medical team has been really good. But I'm really happy to be back and being able to play this game.
Leroy Carter has been named at wing for that second test as the All Blacks targeted 2-0 unassailable lead in the 4-match series. He's discussed the importance of getting back to basics following an impressive performance in the opening clash at Ellis Park.
After a win like that at Ellis Park, you're obviously on quite a high, and it's important to celebrate those wins. But come Monday, we good mental focus of just resetting, starting our week over and just building that way. We know the Boks are going to come out and want revenge, so our focus was just on resetting, starting this week over, getting what we needed to out of that game to work on, and hopefully putting that out on the paddock on Saturday.
Abdeslam Wadu has backed Sfiso Lutuli to excel for Orlando Pirates, having integrated him into the first team this season. The forward will be hoping to get another run out against Kukune United tomorrow. That's when these teams clash for a third time this week, this time around in the second leg of the MTN 8 semi-final.
is full of qualities of a modern striker. He's tall, he's able to play as a wall player, he's able to play to ask the ball in deep, he's able to play in a combination, he's able to score with left foot, right foot, he's able to score with the head. This season he came back and I think the technical staff trust him. Now I just hope that the injuries will stop because he has all the time some small injuries and we have to work on that to strengthen him, to strengthen the legs, to strengthen the upper body.
And Andoni Iraola says it'll be a special moment when he takes charge of Liverpool at Anfield in the Premier League for the first time on Saturday. The Reds are in search of their first 3 points of the season against Nottingham Forest, having opened their campaign with a 2-2 draw at Newcastle.
It's definitely a special moment for me to play your first Premier League game at Anfield. I already felt it in pre-season. When the competition starts, for me, it's going to be I will be thinking on the game and the things that I need to think, but I think it's going to be emotional. And I think it has to be like this, no? It's a special place. I've had to fight a lot to arrive to this place, and I hope everything goes well and I can enjoy also the game.
Tola Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
17 minutes to 5 on 702 Drive. This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS the word out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. If you're heading towards Reimsig, it's going to get slow. Karabo Charlie, why?
Yeah, that's heading towards Krugersdorp, leaving Reimsig, bumper traffic. This is on Hendrik Potgieter Road between Handicap and the N14. John, at this stage, it's not yet clear what's causing this delay, but please, you can gladly send us a WhatsApp voice note to 072-702-1702. There's also slow-moving traffic. This is heading towards Four Ways, leaving Bryanston on the N1 southbound from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive. In Sharon Lee, traffic sluggish on Malibongwe Drive between the N1 and Belez. In Edenville, there's also slow-moving traffic on the R24 westbound from Edenville Road to the Gilulis interchange, Kempton Park. There's an accident scene on Pretoria Road near CR Swart, causing delays from Plain Road in Bursley, Kempton Park. There's traffic pressure on Morafontein Road between Mooirivier and Pretoria Road, and in Protea Glen, expect some delays on the N12 westbound from the R554 to the R558. If you come across any other traffic issues, you can also SMS us on 31702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 55. Is this the right outfit choice for my shape? Ladies, embrace all your beauty this Women's Month. With the Outsurance Pointsmen on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance Pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Joy of Jazz. The Standard Bank Joy of Jazz returns on September 25 and 26.
Thank you so much.
Join 702 at the Dina Lady stage. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Coming up for 14 minutes to 5, Tolakele, a quick sports one before we actually talk about something else. Pieter-Steph du Toit's 100th game tomorrow. Have you been seeing these stories about all the Springboks who are on their 100th cap? The Springboks always lose. Percy Montgomery, 2008. John Smith, 2010. Jean de Villiers, 2014. Damien Dialende, last weekend. Do you believe, do you get spooked by that stuff?
I do, but I think at some point a bad streak has to end, and I think it's no one more perfect than Pieter-Steph du Toit, because we know exactly how hard he's fought to get to this point, and I think also the fact that the captaincy is off him this week, he can also play with freedom without having to worry about being the skipper as well. I think he might be the guy to finally end that unwanted record.
He doesn't look like anyone who's phased. He's just like in a zone, probably when he wakes up. Quick thing about Pieter-Steph du Toit's family run a wine estate called Kloofenberg in Riebeck Kasteel, which I really enjoyed visiting earlier. I was cycling around the area and stopped off at the farm. And one of their wine brands is called 8 Feet. And the reason it's called 8 Feet is because they're 4 du Toit brothers, and their little feet, in probably all of their cases, got bigger feet, they used to help trample the grapes, or so the story goes. So I think at 2 meters tall and 114 kilograms, if he were to be used to trample grapes again, I think they'd get through a harvest pretty quickly. But get through the All Blacks first. Really hoping the Springboks do well. Tolakele, what is that thing that you would never lend anyone? Is the list long? Do we need time? The yo suggests it's either one really important thing or it's a lot of things.
I am, but I've learned the hard way. Money.
Oh. Yes.
I've really learned, especially over the last 5-6 years. I don't play that game anymore. It's been very difficult because I'm not a person that likes to constantly pester someone.
Yes.
So I've gotten to the point where I don't have it. Even if I do have it, I don't have it, because it just creates awkward conversations, and it also creates resentment in me when at the moment you needed the money, you were all great, and now I'm constantly begging and pleading. Like, I'm literally desperate for my own money. So it's that.
Some people say, if you're going to give somebody money, give them money, but don't lend it or say no. That those are the choices. Either you gift it or you don't give them anything at all. How about you, Karabo Charlie? What are you not willing to lend?
Jish, I lend it only to my partner because she's in the insurance. She's included in the insurance. But I refuse to lend people my car. And it's not it's more of a fearing the worst,
Yes.
Because what if they get into an accident and now the insurance company doesn't want to pay and it's all complicated? I'll rather give you Uber money than give you my car.
Yeah, I lend family members cars when they need them, I must admit. Particularly when people are, say, visiting from Cape Town, they want to go and see a friend or whatever, let them have the car. For me, hair gel, I'm just not willing to lend anybody my hair products.
John, where do you buy your hair gel?
Especially you, Karabo Charlie.
Where do you buy your hair gel, John? Tell us more.
If you're watching YouTube, you will understand why we are laughing in such a silly way. What are the things you're absolutely unwilling to lend to anybody else? Please tell us what they are and why. 072 702 1702, 10 to 5.
Randall's One Song on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive with John Perlman.
So, we're going to talk music with Randall Abrams. He'll introduce the song in just a moment, but I think many of you would have expected Randall, who's referenced and spoken about Dolly Parton before, would want to talk about her in the week in which she passed away. Randall, a very good afternoon to you. I've seen so much about her, but one person made a very interesting observation that it's really striking that somebody who's achieved so much, beyond so much, in music, yet so much of the conversation is about what kind of person she was, how she engaged with and treated other people and things in that vein. But your own thoughts as you heard the news and then digested the reaction.
Thanks, John. I think lots of her fans had known that she wasn't well. She had, postponed a lot of performances. She was supposed to do a show in Vegas. She had various other award ceremonies that she'd also missed. So I think people kind of realized and accepted that she may be a little bit more ill than they actually knew. But my reaction was, I think that the type of legacy she left behind, was she happy with that? And I think the answer has to be yes. And I also watched a whole lot of clips. And I follow a bass player by the name of Leland Sklar, who played with, tons of people, including James Taylor. He was the live musician for Phil Collins.
Mm-hmm.
And he told some fascinating stories. He said that when she was filming Rhinestone with Sylvester Stallone, Stallone would arrive every day in a limo, and he would go and pick up Dolly at her apartment in a 32 Chevy.
Yes.
He said that she knew everybody's name on set, and that she also, had lunch every day in the commissary. And this is a person, let's just talk about her legacy from a success point of view. She had 109 singles in the Billboard Top 40 country chart. 109.
Yeah.
She had 25 number ones. She is the only artist to have a hit on the Billboard Country chart over 6 decades.
Wow.
Right. I mean, that is like, it's quite extraordinary. I mean, she also, I think, you may have read about her business acumen, but she obviously turned down Elvis's manager, Colonel Tom Parker, when he requested 50% of the publishing for I Will Always Love You for Elvis to record the song. She said, I would do anything for Elvis to record that song, but she said, this is for my kids. She obviously didn't have kids, but what she meant is, this was for her future. And how prescient she was in that Whitney Houston goes on to record it and takes the record to number 1 on the Billboard chart for 11 weeks. So she was, very, very clear. But she also, she basically, honestly, is more influential than any politician in the South over the past 50 years in terms of reading. She started a foundation for reading.
Yeah.
So
300 million books, apparently.
Exactly. So, I mean, we could go on about her legacy. And then last but by no means least, was she really sharp of wit and extremely self-deprecating. I watched an interview with her and Johnny Carson. She was great friends with Johnny Carson. And where she grew up in Sevierville in Tennessee, they dedicated a stretch of road to her, the Dolly Parton Parkway.
Yes.
And he said, I'm actually going out to Tennessee, and, if I drive past there, Dolly, I'll salute you. She said, yeah, it's very interesting that they chose the flattest piece of road in order to dedicate to me.
She had dozens of those. Randall, let's get into the music. I mean, you've gone right back to the beginning of her career. Tell us about the song. Tell us about the duet.
So the first thing is we've played Dolly and Porter before. So Porter Wagner, Dolly took over from the original female singer on his show. And in fact, America didn't want her. They were very in love with a singer that had been part of the Porter Wagner show. And she had to win them over. That's how she began her career. From a musical point of view, and I've said it before, it's a combination of vinegar and honey, vinegar from Porter and honey from Dolly. And I was in Nashville in, I think, 2017. And that's when I absolutely fell in love with the duets. And I just, as much as I love listening to Dolly, and Porter made some very important country records as well, the combination of those two voices, as unexpected a duo as you could imagine in terms of their vocalese, but how perfectly it works.
Well, let's take a listen. As Randall put it, vinegar and honey. That's not the title. That's what you're going to get. It's called Tomorrow is Forever, Porter Wagner and Dolly Parton.
Take my hand and run with me out of the past called yesterday, and walk with me into the future of tomorrow. Yesterday must be forgot, no looking back. No matter what, there's nothing there but memories that bring sorrow. Yesterday is gone, but tomorrow is forever. No more crying, tears leave tracks, and memories find their way back. Tomorrow's waiting, let's journey there together. Yesterday is gone, but tomorrow is forever.
I care not for yesterday, I love you as you are today.
Yesterday just helped to pass the time while waiting.
We must forget the passing time.
My love for you is the real kind, the kind that won't hurt you. Oh, never. Yesterday is gone.
The sound of Porter Wagoner and need I tell you, Dolly Parton. Tomorrow is forever. Randall's one song for this week. Randall Abrams back with us at the same time next Friday.
Local government elections aren't about politics. They're about the roads you drive every day, the water you need, the electricity you rely on, the rates you pay, the services you deserve. You see, local government isn't somewhere else. It's your neighborhood, your street, your home. So in the run-up to the local government elections, 702, Cape Talk, and EWN will be where the issues that matter to you are put in the spotlight, where the tough questions are asked, where the crucial conversations begin, because this is more than local. It's personal. Follow every moment of the local government election on 702, Cape Talk, and EWN.co.za. Download the EWN app.
Mandy Wiener's podcast, The Hope Dealers, tells the story of the people changing the narrative in Joburg. Mandy has spent weeks witnessing the passion and the collective action of the Hope Dealers, who are individuals and organizations working to restore and rejuvenate Jozi. Catch a new episode of the podcast on the Midday Report every Wednesday after the news headlines, or watch the full Hope Dealers video on Prime Media Plus. This week, Mandy spends time with Sifiso Gombi and the Urban Surfer team, bringing dignity and redemption to rubbish reclaimers who collect what we call rubbish. The Hope Dealers on Prime Media Plus.
It's a good thing you're naked while doing the dishes, because what if water starts coming from somewhere that definitely isn't a tap? With Naked, you can request emergency plumbing assistance instantly on the app. Go to naked.insure now and get comprehensive home insurance at a lower premium. Because when bad things happen, it's a good thing you're naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Jenny, it's the Crazy Store's birthday! What? Your budget flew away! No! 20% off everything! Who said that you can't sing? No! 20% off when you spend over 200 Rand! Your husband's running off with Anne! I said, it's the Crazy Store's birthday! 20% off everything! Okay, you don't have to shout.
It's the Crazy Store's birthday. Save 20% when you spend 200 Rand or more. T's and C's apply. The Crazy Store. Hey, you never know what you might find.
This is EWN.
Joe Ferrari Sibanyoni tells Madlanga Commission how he knew DJ Sambodi and MK Party picks Bongani Baloyi as its Joburg mayoral candidate. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Mpumalanga taxi boss Joe Sibanyoni believes slain musician Oupa Sefoka, popularly known as DJ Sambodi, was targeted because of their close association. Sibanyoni has been testifying before the Madlanga Commission today, where he has been declaring his various associations. He told the Commission he knew Sefoka's father during their time in the taxi industry some 30 years ago and was fond of the musician. Sefoka was gunned down in Johannesburg in 2022 in a hit allegedly orchestrated by businessman Katiso KT Molefe. Sibanyoni also confirmed that he knew Singi Mukubung, known as DJ Vetis, who survived a shooting in 2024.
The attempted life of DJ Vetis and Mr. Sefoka have been unalived. It was a matter of people that are close to me, irrespective whether they were in the taxi industry or were socializing together. And it did not end here, it's just that I put these two on records so that the Commission can understand.
Yes. Are you conveying that they were attacked because of their proximity to you?
Correct.
Judgment has been reserved in the latest bail application of suspended EMPD Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi. It follows questions raised in the Germiston Magistrates Court today over his other bail application in the Brakpan Magistrates Court. In that court, Mkhwanazi faces charges in connection with the alleged killing of Brakpan businessman Emmanuel Mbenze in 2022. Well, during today's proceedings, Mkhwanazi's co-accused, Ekurhuleni Fleet Manager Chris Steyn, was granted bail, while alleged kingpin Vusimuzi Matala abandoned his application. The trio faced charges linked to allegations that 4 of Matlala's private vehicles were unlawfully fitted with blue lights. Magistrate Trevor Claassen has postponed the matter to the 14th of September.
I am further of the view that the accused person, number one, will not suffer prejudice at this juncture, seeing that he in any event is in custody. Case is postponed to the 14th of September in respect of accused number 1 only. Accused number 2 in custody. Accused number 3, bail is granted in the amount of 10,000 rand.
South Africa's latest crime figures show that violent crime remains heavily concentrated in relatively small number of policing precincts. Inanda in KZN recorded the highest number of contact crimes between April and June, followed by Mfuleni and Delft in the Western Cape. But while some of the country's most crime-affected stations recorded declines, others have seen sharp increases. This has all been revealed in the latest crime statistics released in Pretoria earlier today. Mongezi Gogo reports.
SAPS crime registrar Tularis Kukune says Inanda recorded 1,056 contact crimes during the first quarter of the financial year, up more than 10% from the same period last year. Mfuleni recorded 975 cases despite a 12% decline. Delft recorded 872 contact crimes, while Tembisa in Gauteng recorded 850, a 16% increase. But stations including Nyanga, Khayelitsha and Johannesburg Central recorded fewer contact crimes than during the same period last year.
11 stations from the province of Gauteng, 10 stations that are in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, 8 provinces that are in the province of the Western Cape.
Police say the figures reinforce the need to target resources and intelligence at the precincts carrying the greatest burden of violent crime. Mongezi Gogo, Eyewitness News.
The Umkhonto weSizwe Party has named Bongani Baloyi as its mayoral candidate in Johannesburg. Baloyi has previous mayoral experience, having been Midvaal's #1 citizen at some point. He was unveiled alongside 5 other mayoral candidates of the MK Party during a media briefing in Durban today. MK Member of Parliament Thulani Shongwe was the other notable candidate, as he will be running for mayor in Ekurhuleni. MK Party Secretary General Sibonelo Nomvalo.
The endorsement of these candidates marks an important step towards consolidating the party's electoral campaign and providing voters with clear leadership choices ahead of the 2026 local government elections.
And in Germany, health officials will be analyzing the malaria parasites found in the blood samples of Frankfurt airport workers who caught malaria. This after 2 workers died after they caught malaria from a mosquito thought to have arrived on a plane. 4 other infected employees are still being treated in hospital. Germany's last outbreak of airport-based malaria was in 2023. The rarity of the condition means diagnosis can be delayed, increasing the chances of severe symptoms. Gold is trading at $4,554.46 an ounce. The rand is at 16.11 to the dollar, 21.83 to the pound, 18.70 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $88.94 a barrel.
Centurion travelling towards Linwood. There's traffic pressure N1 north from John Foster to the R21 Flying Saucer interchange. Bryanston heading into Four Ways. Also expect some delays N1 south from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive, and in Edenville there's a slow-moving traffic. This is on the R24 westbound from Edenville Road to the Gilulis interchange.
In your sport, the Proteas target a winning start to their T20 Tri-Series as they open their campaign with a clash against host Namibia. The Springboks looking to bounce back in their second rugby's greatest rivalry test against the All Blacks. And Miguel Cardoso calls for Mamelodi Sundowns to be respected as they look to overturn MTN 8 semi-final deficit.
A fine Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 6 degrees, peaking at 21. Pretoria 9 and 22, and Vereeniging 7 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN. Mpumalanga taxi boss Joe Sibanyoni believes slain musician Oupa Sefoka, popularly known as DJ Sambodi, was targeted because of their close association.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 8 minutes past 5. Do you pay much attention to the crime statistics when they come out every quarter? Do they tell you anything about the reality of living in South Africa with, the ever-present sense of crime, whether it's directly affecting you at that particular time or not? Or is it just something that we cover in the news and we look to the stats? I'd love to hear from you about that. I mean, when you hear, for example, the number of murders has gone down, does it do anything to make you feel any safer? Give us a call on that on 072 702 1702. A chat, if you like, on 011 883 0702. We'll be looking more closely at the crime stats with Ian Cameron, Member of Parliament for the DA and also Head of Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Policing. We'll get the latest business news for you. And then a little bit later in the show at around 20 to 6, we are going to be doing what we do every Friday. We call it a song, a book, and a dish. We'll be talking to film and TV series actress Ntati Moshesh. She's with us, as I said, at around 20 minutes to 6. Lots to talk about with her. 702 Drive, it's 9 minutes past 5.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John. I just want to debunk your theory there a little bit. Ben Elizabeth earned his 100th cap, and the Springboks beat, I think, Wales on the day. So it's not always doom and gloom. Cheers.
Good afternoon, Tata John. One thing I would never lend to anybody ever again is my car. I had lent my car to my ex-husband and he pawned it.
Wow. Okay. There's a little bit of silence here as we tried to find our jaws that were had dropped to the table. Just on the 100 caps and losing the game, I don't think I was clear enough in what I said. Whenever a Springbok wins 100th cap against the All Blacks, we lose. So if I didn't put that clearly, that is the stat on the table. 2008 Percy Montgomery, John Smith 2010, John de Villiers 2014, Damien Dialende last weekend. And yes, there have been 100 cap winners who've been on the winning side. So if I didn't make that clear, let me make it clear now. 10 past 5.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Trouble out in Centurion. Let's find out trouble of what kind. Karabo Charlie with the details.
Yeah, that's heading towards Linwood, leaving Centurion. There's bumper traffic. This is on the N1 northbound from John Foster to the R21 Flying Saucer interchange. It looks like there's an accident scene, but I'm not 100% sure. So if you are on that route, please enlighten me what's happening. You can WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702. There's also slow-moving traffic in the Sharon Lee area. This is Sharon Lee on Malibongwe Drive between the N1 and Belize. Fairland. There's also traffic pressure on the N1 southbound. This is from Beyers Nodia to Hendrik Botgieter. There's also bumper traffic on in Bryanston heading into Four Ways. This is N1 southbound from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive. Edenville traveling towards Bedford View. Slow-moving traffic R24 westbound from Edenville Road to the Gilulis interchange. And in Bursley, Kempton Park, traffic pressure on Morafontein Road between Mooirivier and Pretoria Road. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Everyone gets insurance for the moment something goes wrong, and when it does, you need the peace of mind of knowing your claim will be handled fairly. Outsurance keeps outperforming. The Ombudsman, an independent body that rules on complaints, confirmed in their 2025 annual report that Outsurance had the lowest overturned ratio of complaints received. Why would you want to be insured with anyone else? Get a quote and switch today. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
They said they didn't have a favorite, but that wasn't true. Mom takes pictures of it, and then Dad shows it off to visitors, and no one is allowed to touch it with sticky hands. When I arrived, they let the butcher hold me.
Melissa, we've spoken about kicking the new Decophone table. Come meet Decophone's irresistible new arrivals and grab your favorite furniture at your favorite prices. Now at your nearest Decophone or decophoneSA.co.za.
As a business owner, you're always looking for ways to save money. But have you looked at saving on your business insurance premium? With Outsurance Business Insurance, you could save big, like Bosmansdam High School.
We were with our previous insurance for 10 years plus before switching to Outsurance Business Insurance.
We are saving 3,705 Rand per month.
It was so quick and easy, we should have switched sooner.
Ready to switch and save? Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Mama Million here, and yes, I am a millionaire. Are you ready to play Multiplay 2 from the 1st of September? I hope so. Multiplay 2. A new way to multiply your chances of winning the Powerball and the Lotto. Think about it like this. Multi is for multiple combinations. Play is for play more chances. And 2 is for 2 extra numbers. Now you can choose 8 numbers. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizakai.
The Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank, returns to the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit from 28 to 30 August. Experience thrilling track drives, supercars, drifting, 4x4 adventures, and the very latest in automotive innovation. Book your tickets now on Howler. The Festival of Motoring, where legacy meets innovation.
702 Drive with John Perlman was in conversation with Honor, exploring the future of smartphones and the technology shaping what comes next.
Actually, today we just released our new slogan. We call it Dare to Be. That's why we bring this robot phone to the market, because we believe the phone handset industries has needed something new. And also it's some indications that Honor, as a global leading AI ecosystem companies, with our cutting edge technologies, we can combine different things. And when they first see it, they will say, wow.
Visit honor.com/ZA to find out more. Honor, Dare to Be on 702.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So crime stats for the second quarter of the year, that's April, May, June, released today by Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia. Lots of interesting data in there, and to try and make sense of it all, we're joined now by Ian Cameron, who chairs Parliament's Portfolio Committee on the Police, and he's a Member of Parliament for the Democratic Alliance. Mr. Cameron, welcome, and thanks very much for giving us your time. There are some sharp falls in a number of, I think it's fair to say, important crimes. Of course, they are all important, but residential robberies down almost 18%. Carjackings, house robberies, business robberies, all of them down by more than 16%. Murder is down as well, but attempted murder is up, and by a fair bit as well, 9%. Well, what do these numbers tell you, and is a quarter sufficient time to call it a trend? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. First of all, I think it's important to acknowledge the decreases. I think, especially with something like murder, where we see about a 6% total decrease, it does say something. When you look at the actual numbers, it's still extremely high. I mean, we're talking about 5,500 people being murdered in a quarter. That's a hell of a lot. That's around, 60 per day. So it gives you an idea that we're still maintaining war zone trends of violent crime. And when you look at the stats for attempted murder, as you correctly said, assault with the intent to commit grievous bodily harm, those types of contact crimes, physical violent crimes where there's a a kind of assault or a hurt to the body, an injury to the body, is very, very high. I wouldn't call it a trend yet, but it is a welcome small decrease.
Yeah, I mean, and you make a very valid point to get us going, that where there are decreases, we need to understand them. I suppose what one's looking for, though, is perhaps more than one number that suggests that an initiative is dealing with a range of crimes. Because, for example, my impression has been that in the past, bank robberies might go down, but cash in transit heists have gone up. And that suggests simply that bank robbers haven't looked for another career. They've looked for another form of crime. Are we seeing patterns that link to each other that might be either positive or negative?
I haven't, this specific set of data, I haven't had enough time to analyze it in that way, but something that we've seen with previous trend shifts was, you remember a few years ago, we constantly heard about cell phone shops being robbed.
Right.
And now when you think about it, you never hear about that happening anymore. You know, you'd rather hear about a very, I call it a low level kidnapping, not to break down the importance. But kidnapping used to be the type of thing we just hear about, extremely high income people that are supposedly high value that are kidnapped. And now it's become a very common thing, whether you're poor, middle class or rich, regardless. And without being insensitive, all of them are important. The point is just that has become a much more lucrative business proposal to a career criminal than robbing a cell phone store where you might get caught. So I think you have a valid point that we will see those types of shifts. The one thing I must say is that murder is, generally speaking, the best indicator we have, because, you know, there are debates that one can have with charges when you start comparing assault, GBH, common assault, and attempted murder. But murder, there's a body. Someone was literally killed. So it gives us the most accurate indication of violence.
One of the other things that is highlighted, Mr. Cameron, when the stats come out is which police stations have the highest number of contact crimes, for example. So Nkandla in KwaZulu-Natal, on the outer side rim of Durban, is number one at the moment. Mfuleni and Delft in the Western Cape are problematic as well. Joburg Central is showing some kind of decline in contact crimes. But if we stay with the ones where serious crime is high, to what extent does that inform strategy in an effective way? Because I realize solutions aren't only around policing, but surely if a police station is consistently pegged as at the epicenter of serious crime, wouldn't there be strategies you could deploy to deal with that?
Absolutely, and I think that's what your crime threat analysis should be indicating. It should constantly be showing us where and how we need to adjust. Something that has been done in that way that I find encouraging, where there's really good cooperation between the ground level law enforcement, Metro Police, traffic, etc., and the South African Police Service, and I guess to a certain extent now the SANDF. Specifically the places that we call LEAP stations, where law enforcement advancement members from the city and the province in the Western Cape have permanently been deployed. We've seen extremely high numbers of decreases at stations that are usually the high level murder stations. You know, I use an example like, let's use Mitchell's Plain.
Right.
A 13% decrease in murder. That's significant. And if we can keep that trend going along with this hotspot policing model where they use data constantly to adjust the way that police patrol, etc., I'm sure we can bring it down even more.
Do you, in the portfolio committee or perhaps in forums where you engage outside of Parliament, Mr. Cameron, do kind of data generated from a range of sectors? And what I mean by that is crime is down, maybe arrests are up, but then prosecutions, we need to look at how effective those are. In other words, these figures tell us something, but I would have thought something that tracks all the threads right through the criminal justice system might tell us more. Are we doing that kind of analysis either locally, provincially, or on a national scale?
Not the way that we should yet. I must say today was the first time that I remember over the past 5 to 10 years where the National Commissioner actually spoke to that specifically in quite a bit of detail. So it was good to see that, but we don't have that integrated type of reporting yet. And you see, if you take it down to ground level, let me give you a practical example. At courts, the MPA, or rather prosecutors try to empty the court roll while the police try and fill the court roll. So,
Yes.
You know, they don't have an integrated approach. If we look at the way in which the data was presented today, especially with regards to the feedback the National Commissioner gave, it was the first time that we saw a more integrated type of feedback model. If we don't consider prosecutions, we don't really know if we're being successful. I mean, this is the one part where I totally disagree with the acting Minister of Police regarding Operation Chanela. A lot of people would have heard about it. It's a mass visible policing operation that focuses on targeted areas, you know, that do major roadblocks, etc. But the large majority, I'm talking more than 90% of arrests that don't result in successful conviction.
Yes.
So one must then ask, you know, is it really worth it? Is it really making the impact you want it to?
And just finally, I suppose on a related theme, I mean, if, for example, we see, as you said, there's a great improvement in the numbers at Mitchell's Plain and the Cape Flats, obviously, with all the problems around gangs and so on. Does that mean that the numbers are going down in Mitchell's Plain because the crime prevention, but also the prosecution is successful? Or do we need to be wary of the phenomenon of displacement, where they say, okay, look, Mitchell's Plain is saturated for a period of X months. It's a bad place to deal drugs. It's a bad place to settle scores. Let's move 3-4 Ks.
Look, there might be people that won't appreciate what I'm going to say, but I think it's mostly displacement. It just moves the problem. We can see it. If you use the Western Cape as the example, because we're on that point now, you can see the increase in extortion-related violence. Mass shootings, generally speaking, have started moving to supposed rural towns where we're not used to see high levels of violence. Places like Franschhoek or Malmesbury, even Kluttersville, just outside Stellenbosch. We never saw mass shootings in those places at the level, the rate at which we do now. So I think is a major displacement of violent crime. And until we don't have that integrated strategy, I'm afraid we're not going to be removing these real, you know, let's call them the sharp end side of the criminal element from the equation.
Thank you so much. Ian Cameron, Portfolio Chair, or Chair of the Portfolio Committee of Police in Parliament, Member of Parliament for the DA. 5:25.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Mohale, go ahead. What's your question?
If the Lobola letter is so significant, why don't you just use the Lobola letter without necessarily registering the marriage?
Tulani?
I don't think the courts will be amenable just to take a Lobola letter for the purpose of divorce. But we do take it for the purpose of registering. But also for registering, at least one witness must come from the bride's family and one witness from the groom's family, or whatever appropriate representatives from the families should be part to that. In this instance, we take it because at least both parties are present and they are still in the jovial mood of getting into a relationship. There's no dispute about anything.
Tulani Mavuso, DDG for Operations at Home Affairs.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Remember the first time your soul felt alive, or the last time music moved you so deeply you just didn't want it to end. That feeling is calling you back. You're officially invited to come experience soulful performances from global icons. Kamasi Washington, Temba and Africa Mkhize, Nubia Garcia, Ibrahim Malouf, Judith Sapuma, Angelique Kidjo, Ndabo Zulu, Melanie Scholes, Floetry, Tandiswa Mazwai, and 40 world-class acts. 4 incredible stages of the Sandton Convention Centre, one unforgettable experience at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, 25th to 26th September. This is Jazz Reignited. Get your weekend pass now via Ticketmaster.
What's for dinner tonight, South Africa? Hiya, Jamie Oliver here. Dinner stress? Forget it. I've teamed up with Checkers to bring you some of my favourite recipes the whole family will love. You gotta try my simple smoky chicken wraps. Delicious and done in minutes. Shop the ingredients on Checkers 6060 and boom, delivered in 60 minutes. Every week, 5 brand new dinner ideas. Checkers, dinner done better.
Sometimes life gives you more than you expected. Like when you were expecting twins and were blessed with quadruplets. Joy. Enjoy more family time in the Havao H6 with the spacious interior and advanced safety features everyone will love. From only $5,399 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, and authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
EWN Business.
Muteo Khwaripe has joined us to update us on the markets and look ahead to the Money Show. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. A strong end to the week for the JSE, up 1,367 points, driven up by industrials, which were up more than 1%. Banking stocks stronger by 1%, while mining shares also posted a late rebound, up more than 1%. Good wins for Valterra. They up 4.6%. Of course, rumored to be the company trying to get Northam. Sasol up 4.5% on the back of stronger oil prices. Sirius was up 2.9%, while Remgro was up at 2.4%. Some wins for Sibanye Stillwater, up 2.5%, while the luxury brand group Richmond was up 2.4%. Telkom enjoying gains of 2%. Itel Tile was down 4.6%. Harmony Gold down 2.5%. DRD Gold in some weakness today. Pick and Pay down 1.6%. Truers, with some results coming out yesterday, are still reeling from those losses reported yesterday, down 1.5%. Santam was down 1%, with Goldfields and Datatech also in some negative territory. Then looking at currencies, the Rand had a great week, only to end it off in some weak territory against a strengthening US dollar. Why is the US dollar strong? Well, they reported on US GDP numbers, which were up 1.5% in the second quarter. That economy quite resilient, and that's pushed up the price of the dollar, weakening the developing Rand at 16 Rand 10 cents. 18 Rand 69 against the euro, and 21 Rand 84 cents against the British pound. Price of gold is also down 0.5%, hurting the local currency at $4,576 an ounce, while platinum is up 2.5% at $1,904. Brent crude is down 0.5% this afternoon at $88.04 a barrel. Well, they say chickens don't fly, but Rainbow Chicken are really flying with strong results today. That's where we start off with the Money Show tonight. We'll be talking to Martina Stander, CEO of Rainbow Chicken. Then we talk Stadio results. They're also reporting a 13% revenue growth. The private education institution really getting a lot of enrollments. In fact, double digits enrollments. Isha Kula, CFO of Stadio Holdings, joins us for that conversation. Our market commentary with Zwela Kimguni will be looking at that US economy number, as well as Northam's results that came out today, as well as why that Rand is still weakening this afternoon. Then in our Friday file, we talk lifestyle on the Money Show on Fridays. We'll be talking about the SA20 T20 tournament that is played here in South Africa, reporting that it's been able to have an economic boost of 6.5 billion rand for the SA economy. We'll be having a great conversation with the SA20 League Commissioner Graham Smith. And then, of course, we'll be testing you on all the information we've given you on the Money Show this week in our Friday Biz Blitz. All that and more on the Money Show.
Thanks, Mateo. 6 to 8. Lots to look forward to and to listen up for. It's 29 minutes to 6. News time once again with Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. The prison escape trial of convicted rapist and murderer Thabo Bester has been pushed back once again. The Free State High Court has now set a new trial window for next year. Bester and his co-accused, including his girlfriend, Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, face charges linked to his 2022 escape from Mangaung Correctional Centre. Mongezi Gogo has more.
Bester appeared virtually before the Free State High Court today wearing a white branded t-shirt before he was asked by correctional officers to change. There were also several technical glitches during the proceedings, but the court was able to continue. The state and various defense teams agreed to move next year's trial date further to allow other pending legal matters involving counsel to be dealt with first. Judge Marina Opperman then set a trial window running from the 19th of April to the 18th of June 2027.
All the accused that are out on bail, should you not be at court, the court may cancel your bail. The appearances of accused number 1 and 7 for the trial, which will be in person.
Meanwhile, Bester also has a separate court matter challenging his alleged treatment in prison, allegations the Department of Correctional Services has denied. Mungi Ziko, Eyewitness News.
Cabinet has condemned a recent spate of what's believed to have been politically motivated killings. But Minister in the Presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, warns it will be wrong for the executive to intervene, adding law enforcement should be trusted to bring the situation under control. 3 people have been killed in Knysna over the past week, including a former mayor and a serving councillor and another former councillor. Ntshavheni says Cabinet's appealing for political tolerance ahead of the local government elections scheduled for the 4th of November.
The net joints have a full plan on securing the elections and the related matters. And if Cabinet discuss the operational matters of capacities of policing structures, we are going to run into problems. The police will know there's mechanisms in place or within the police system.
And pharmaceutical company Clicks is targeting South Africa's township retail market with a new store format aimed at competing with spaza shops and discount retailers. The group has launched Kwamaki, a smaller format store designed for township communities as well as neighborhoods. The first outlet opened in Tembisa with stores planned for other areas in the Western Cape. Clicks says it wants to have 10 Kwamaki stores operating by the end of the year. Anelita Fandese has more.
Click says the stores are significantly smaller than their traditional stores and will focus on everyday essentials including baby products, personal care, beauty, household items and front shop healthcare products. The format will also allow smaller pack sizes, targeting cash-constrained consumers who shop more frequently. Click CEO Bettina Engelbrecht says the new format is about reaching communities that its traditional stores cannot serve. She says Clicks sees around 2,000 potential locations that are not suitable for its existing store format. The group has allocated 30 million rand to the initial 10-store pilot. Click says Kwamaki could eventually become a significant growth engine, including beyond South Africa. Anelita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
A fine Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Lows of between 6 and 9 degrees and highs of between 21 and 22.
Omonde, this is heading towards Soweto. Accident scene M1 South near Xavier, causing heavy delays all the way from the Crown interchange. Donkerhoek, that's in Pretoria. Bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N4 eastbound heading towards Amalahleni. This is approaching Donkerhoek Road due to ongoing roadworks. Centurion traffic pressure. This is traveling towards Linwood, N1 North from John Foster to the R21 Flying Saucer interchange.
The top story in EWN, the prison escape trial of convicted rapist and murderer Thabo Bester has been pushed back once again.
Local government elections aren't about politics. They're about the roads you drive every day, the water you need, the electricity you rely on, the rates you pay, the services you deserve. You see, local government isn't somewhere else. It's your neighborhood, your street, your home. So in the run-up to the local government elections, 702, Cape Talk and EWN will be where the issues that matter to you are put in the spotlight, where the tough questions are asked, where the crucial conversations begin. Because this is more than local. It's personal. Follow every moment of the local government election on 702, Cape Talk and EWN.co.za. Download the EWN app.
It's a good thing you're naked in traffic. Because what if the highway is jammed during rush hour and you're the reason why? With Naked, you can request tow truck assistance instantly on the app. Go to naked.insure now and get comprehensive car insurance at a lower premium. Because when bad things happen, it's a good thing you're naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
This advert is paid for by the political party concerned.
Ish, I love my hometown, but for too long now, I look around and think we deserve better than this. The water goes off for days, the streets are falling apart, and things never get fixed. Look, I'm not asking for anything fancy. I just want basics to work. And I know they can work because I've seen it where the Democratic Alliance is in charge. I want our town to work for all. So in this election, I'm voting DA.
This advert was paid for by the political party concerned.
More Mamillion here, and yes, I am a millionaire. Are you ready to play Multiplay 2 from the 1st of September? I hope so. Multiplay 2. A new way to multiply your chances of winning the Powerball and the Lotto. Think about it like this. Multi is for multiple combinations. Play is for play more chances. And 2 is for 2 extra numbers. Now you can choose 8 numbers. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizakai.
EWN Sport.
Right, let's catch up with Tolakele Mganga. Cricket results somewhat surprising, to me at least. What happened?
While John, the Proteas have suffered an 18-run loss to Namibia in their opening game of the T20 Tri-Series that also features Zimbabwe. Deval Brevis top scored with 75 and was just one of 3 players to get into double digits, while Ruben Truppelman and JJ Smith took 3 wickets each as Namibia made it back-to-back T20 wins over South Africa. Shukri Conrad's men don't have long to dwell on this loss as they take on Zimbabwe tomorrow. That's in the second game of the 7-match series. Switching over to rugby's greatest rivalry series, where the second test between the Springboks and the All Blacks takes place tomorrow. It's a milestone occasion for Peter Steph Tutoy, who'll play his 100th Bok game, while Oxenchair takes part in his 50th in the Cape Town Showdown. Captain Siya Kolisi is fit and back in the starting 15 and has discussed the importance of bouncing back after the Ellis Park loss.
We direct with one another and we are honest with one another on the field itself as well. So that experience helps a lot to the fact that we know we've been here before. You know, we can draw strength from that, and I think that's really important. And those conversations are actually the most important one. Outside, you know, the coaching staff, they give us all the plan, but we have to buy in it and believe in it, and then find other ways to make it better as well, or things that we've done in the past that have helped us. So those conversations are actually the very important ones, because we are the ones that are on the field and the coaches on the sidelines in the case.
Despite the long rivalry between the two nations, it's respect all round from both sides, with Leroy Carter sharing what it's like for players to be involved in such encounters.
Physicality, they're obviously a big physical team, and then on the other side of that, their backs have got elite feet, good footwork, fast, and then I guess it's just the intensity. Those test matches, both teams know what they're going to be walking into, and so it creates a great vibe in the stadiums.
Miguel Cardoso has called for Mamelodi Sundowns to be respected as they look to re-establish themselves as Cup Kings. They've last lifted a domestic cup back in 2022 and have a mountain to climb to win the first one on offer this season. They'll take on Lamanville Golden Arrows on Sunday, looking to overcome a 1-0 deficit in the MTN 8 second leg semi-final.
People around tend to create always instability. Try to come from outside and put instability inside. We know this business already very well. We manage it with peace. It's important that people respect the work that is done in this club. This club has just finished winning a Champions League that was not won in South Africa for 10 years. But there's no respect on it. People forget very quickly because there was a loss in one match that is still up to go. Let's see if we are strong enough to go to Arrows and make the game we need to do. Let's see if we are capable enough. It's a good test for the moment.
Orlando Pirates go in search of a 5th consecutive final appearance when they take on Skukune United tomorrow. They 1-0 up in that game, and coach Adaslam Wadu has backed Tapela Mukobodi to shine should he be selected.
His style of play suits very well the way that we want to play. He's somebody that is clever. He's somebody that integrates quickly. And it's a boy that took his chance. You know, I always say that when the train stops at the station, you need to climb in that train, especially when it's a high-speed train. So you need to be inside because sometimes the train it doesn't stop too much every time in every station. He is in the train. I hope he will continue to grow and to improve and to be one of the key players in our system.
Tolakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
19 minutes to 6. Let's get the latest traffic updates south of Joburg.
Yeah, so if you're leaving Joburg CBD heading towards Soweto, there's an accident scene on, this is in Omonde, on the M1 southbound near Xavier. This is causing heavy delays all the way from the Crown Interchange. Sharon Lee, traffic remains sluggish on Malibongo Drive between the N1 and Belez in Fairland. There's a traffic congestion on the N1 South from Beyers Naudé to Hendrik Potgieter. There's also slow-moving traffic. This is in Bryanston heading towards Four Ways. Expect some delays N1 South from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive in Edenville. Slow-moving traffic. This is traveling into Bedfordview, R24 westbound. This is between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange in Bursley, Kempton Park. Traffic pressure on Morafontein Road between Moirefir and Pretoria Road. In Protea Glen, Soweto, you can still expect some delays. N12 west from the R554 Abu Bakr Drive all the way to the R558 Donkerhoek. That's east of Pretoria, heading towards Emalahleni bumper-to-bumper traffic. N4 east approaching Donkerhoek Road. This is due to ongoing roadworks. And finally, Centurion traveling towards Linwood. Traffic pressure N1 north from John Foster to the R21 Flying Saucer interchange. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702 proudly presents the Dina Letty stage at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2026.
We're gonna have some fun. You guys ready?
This is Jazz Reignited.
Jazz.
Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
702 Drive. It's 17 minutes to 6. In a moment, we're going to be spending time talking about a favorite song, a book that's inspired, and memories sparked by food. A song, a book, and a dish with actress Ntati Moshesh coming up in a moment.
Aubrey Masango.
weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Watching the Madlanga Commission, Kat Matala faced a lot of questions about Shadrach Sibiya. His legal team was at every opportunity to make sure that he doesn't incriminate himself. My issue, though, is that if you can afford a legal mind of absolute brilliance, is it possible that the other message that is seeping through is that if you have money, you can basically do whatever you want because our system allows for it?
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Running a truck fleet business in this economy is tough. Fuel, maintenance, staff, the costs never stop. That's why I switched to My Way Business Insurance. Now I save up to 20% on my insurance premiums every month. These savings go a long way to keeping my fleet on the move.
Switch to My Way Business Insurance and save up to 20% on your trucks and buses. Real businesses, real savings. Call us on 0860 646464 for a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. Standard rates and T's and C's apply.
Uncertainty is rising, but your business still has to deliver. Production targets need to be met. And when your workforce is out of balance, the cost is immediate. Too many employees? Costs climb. Too few, productivity drops. Workforce staffing helps businesses stay in control with flexible workforce solutions deployed within 48 hours nationwide. When demand changes, your workforce can change with it. Visit workforcestaffing.co.za. Stay productive, stay flexible, stay in control. You'll drive 20 extra minutes, walk past 3 competitors, ignore every special sign just to get to your place, your bakery, your bookshop, your car wash, your family restaurant. Because loyalty doesn't always choose the closest, it chooses the best. Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Rewarding the local businesses and entrepreneurs that have earned that place in your life. The businesses that deliver every time and keep you coming back for more. Go to primemediaplus.com now to view the awards categories and nominate the business that's earned your loyalty. Because if they're worth the drive, they're worth the nomination. Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Less admin, more time for what you love. Yoko, let's grow on 702 and primemediaplus.com.
A song, a book, and a dish.
On 702.
702 Drive. We look forward to this all week. My guest today has had a distinguished career both in film and in television series. Think of movies like The Long Run and Ayanda and the Mechanic. Think of series like Saints and Sinners, Scandal, and most recently Savage Beauty, for which she won a SAFTA. For Best Supporting Actress. You can watch that on Netflix. We're delighted to have with us on the show Ntati Moshesh. Welcome to 702 Drive.
Oh, thank you so much, John. I really, really appreciate it.
So before we get into anything, today is your birthday. Happy birthday. How are you going to celebrate?
I am looking at the sea as we speak. I'm chatting to you and I'm looking at my favorite site in the world, which is the sea. I'm in Durban and I'm feeling very nostalgic because my parents met in Durban.
Okay.
I studied in Durban. I was at Durban Tech when I finished matric. So Durban has got such a very nostalgic feel about it for me. So I'm in my happy place, John. I'm doing me. I'm doing me time. I'm taking time off, and I'm just taking off my shoes and just relaxing, which I think I hardly get to do. And I'm using my birthday as an excuse.
You don't need an excuse. It's your birthday. You can do what you like. But Tati, you mentioned your parents. Sadly, both of them have passed away. Your dad, Litlamureng, your mom, Notumata. Your dad, a surgeon, one of the first black surgeons in the country. And your mom, also in the medical sphere as a nurse before she became a social worker. Did anything they did make you think, I want to do the same thing?
Oh, no, John, I cannot stand the sight of blood.
Okay. And you knew that early on?
I'm extremely squeamish. And also, I didn't quite have brains for medicine. But I think my artistic streak was far too dominant. I remember at St. Andrews, we used to have a resident psychologist, and she did one of those amazing assessments, and she called in my father. I still remember so clearly. And she said, Mr. Mushesh, I don't know how to put this, but your child is clearly artistic. We've done every assessment from every angle. She's clearly artistic. And thanks to Mrs. Skona, that she managed to convince my father that acting is exactly what I need to do. I'm not going to be wearing a surgical mask anytime soon and holding a scalpel.
So that's you in high school, St. Andrew's School for Girls in Bedford. But before that, a younger you at the Morochaneng Primary School in Katlehong. What kind of kid were you there? I mean, were you trying to be in school plays? Were you the loudest singer in the choir? What was happening?
Oh, John, I was the noisemaker. We used to have those noisemaker lists.
Yes.
And I remember the teacher kind of figured out pretty early on that, you know what, the only way to shut this one up is to actually make her be in charge of the list.
Yes.
So because I was in charge of the list, I couldn't do much talking, right?
Okay. Did it work?
So I was very talkative, but that's also a trait that I've inherited from my father. My father could speak nonstop. I mean, one of our nicknames for him growing up, we used to actually call him Radio 5, interesting enough. We used to call him Radio 5 because he once spoke from here to Swaziland, which is like a 4-hour trip.
Yes.
Nonstop. And I'm exactly the same. Sorry to all my friends out there because I really exhaust them. I know I'm exhausted.
Yeah, and you didn't think maybe give your dad a quarter and then, maybe you can get a word in edgeways while he chews. Take us to your dinner table at home with the Mushesh family. You say your dad's talking fairly nonstop. You're trying to do the same thing. What was happening around the table?
John, a lot of, he used to encourage reading very much.
Mm-hmm.
So you mother, my wonderful, very supportive mother, who would be in the kitchen doing her thing. And then the kids will be gathered around the table with the old man, and we would be talking about the Rand Daily Mail. And I mean, you would remember the Rand Daily Mail. And what he would do is he would give us a section of the newspaper and say, summarize it.
Wow,
so,
okay.
I remember thinking, other kids are playing, other kids are doing this, and here we are sitting at a table. And I learned the word propaganda from a very early age.
Sure.
Because he would always say, whatever you read, what's the angle, who's writing it, what's the motive, and so I have carried this word propaganda all my life thanks to my childhood. But other than that, John, a table full of laughter. So my older brother, sadly also passed on, was an impersonator of note. So he could impersonate any personality you can think of. My younger brother used to dismantle radios and put them back together again. My younger sister was a voracious reader. She sadly also passed on, but she was an attorney. So law kind of chose my sister from a very young age.
Right.
And then my older sister was, she took after mom. So she's a sociologist.
Wow. I mean, it sounds like an incredibly interesting family. Now, we do have to talk about food. You sent us a couple of words, and I'm going to use 4 of them in 2 separate phrases describing yourself: fussy eater and terrible cook. That sounds like a recipe for not eating anything at all. I mean, there must be something you like, and if so, how do you get hold of it?
John, I was an extremely fussy eater. So I remember, my dad used to use the kids starving in Ethiopia thing from a very, very early on. So I would not eat. And then he would say, okay, every time you don't eat, there's a child in Ethiopia that's not eating. So
yes.
I understood famine very, very early on, thanks to my father. And so I pick at my food. I'm not great at finishing a whole meal. So I suppose my go-to right now is a fruit salad. I mean, a fruit salad or just a plain chicken salad. My mother was extremely healthy. She used to steam vegetables, never ate junk food all her life. So my mother's death was very unexpected, John, because this is somebody who gymmed. From the age of 50, she went to the gym. She was an athlete in her youth, lived very, very healthily. And so when she had an aneurysm, it was such a shock to everybody. Yeah. But I'm a fussy eater, and I've never been good in the kitchen. I have burnt many a pot. If my niece in Cape Town is listening, Ginelwe, she would say, yeah, that's my aunt. She burns pots.
Yeah, she doesn't let you in the kitchen anymore, I'm sure. By the way, when you say you pick at your food, you would have been my perfect sister, because I was the hyena at the table, always looking and saying, are you going to finish that? Do you want that? Because, I'm happy to take it. I want to talk books just to make sure we get your choice in and give you a chance to talk about it. Ntati, you've chosen a book called A Practical Guide to Personal Freedom. It's by the Mexican writer. It's called The 4 Agreements, A Practical Guide to Personal Freedom.
Yes.
Don Miguel Ruiz. He wrote it with Janet Mills. The 4 Agreements: be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. I'm giving the barest detail, but tell us why this book. Why does it matter so much to you?
So, John, this book I was gifted by a very good friend of mine. I undertook a trip to LA, to the City of Angels, to see whether I can make it there, right? Mm-hmm. And her name is Quinn Brown, and she gifted me this book. And she said to me, no, sorry, I'm excusing. So you must excuse my brain fog. Menopause, John, brain fog. No, she gave me the book, The Alchemist. I remember so clearly.
Paulo Coelho.
Yes, also a favorite of mine. But the 4 Agreements I bought myself. I think I had read a review about the 4 Agreements, and it came highly recommended. I took hold of this book, and I call it my Bible in a way. When I'm in doubt, especially the assumption and do not take things personally, which are a bit of a struggle, because I wear my heart on my sleeve, John. I don't know how I'm an actor, because I should be able to take constructive criticism, right? But I do tend to take criticisms a little bit too personally than it's good for me. But it's an ongoing process where I think, okay, who is saying what they're saying? Why are they saying what they're saying? And it's not about you, which is easier said than done, right? And then the be impeccable with your word. John, I think I've struggled. I've always been a people pleaser. And so when I would promise John that, John, you and I are going to play tennis tomorrow at 3:00, and then somebody else would call, and then I'll say, oh, I'll go dancing with you. And lo and behold, then I'll remember, but I promised John I'm going to play tennis. So be impeccable with your word is I have learned to under-promise than over-promise. And I think it's helped a lot, because otherwise then it means I've been disappointing so many people all my life in trying to please everybody that I actually have not kept my word.
So, Ntati, I want to jump into music. Just watching the clock as we have to on radio. You've picked Michael Jackson, and you've picked a particular song, and this goes way back into his career, 1972. Often when people pick Michael Jackson, we're more in the 80s. Tell us why this song, why Michael Jackson?
I can hear it playing in the background, John, and already on his feet dancing. Call it my okay. When I'm just having a great day and I'm I'm page number 27. No, that didn't happen. But when I'm not having a good day on stage, the minute I'm just my mood completely lifts.
Yeah, we just at the last moment losing Ntati Moshesh, but this is a song she loves. It's Michael Jackson from 1972, and it is her birthday. So hopefully a special song on a special day for a special guest on a song, a book, and a dish. Enjoy Michael Jackson. This has been 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. The show produced by Rifue Litsua and Londiwe Ngupane. Karabo Malapile is our technical producer. Have yourselves a fabulous, fabulous weekend. Good night.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
And now, The Money Show with Motheo Hwaripe
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grotes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, proud to support Genza Energy's investment in the infrastructure powering West Africa's growth. Tonight we look at an interesting story brewing. Stadio reporting 13% revenue growth as student base surge. That particular